crazy. I'm just a streaming dirt bag baby. Come to my live stream, don't say maybe. It never ends till you go crazy. Thank you, Uncle Remus. Thank you, Wesley. And thank you, everybody who came. Now that's a franchise I'd watch.
I think you know why you are here. There's a part of you that the normies fear. The truth is what you see. So we welcome you to the home of geeks. Of the oddball, the neglected, the outcast, the rejected. We're all here to celebrate. There's no need to be a packlet. We've done away with all the hatred. Every show you love is here. So kick back and grab a beer. There's plenty of discussion. No agenda that we're pushing. We're just here to celebrate and drag parade. We rebels in the wondrous and strange. Whenever we are here, we see clear. There's no fear. Into the steady every nerd has a voice to be heard, 'cause here everyone's a third. We are a sci-fi menagerie. We've got every alien from A to Z. We know this is where you want to be. We're the greatest channel in the galaxy. And decorate. Rebels in the 1% strange. Whenever we are here, we see clear. There's no fear. Because it's standing every nerd has a voice to be heard. 'Cause here everyone's a third. A third.
return to your scheduled programming shortly, or we are currently experiencing technical difficulties.
Death to Corona!
Yes, I pulled a bird of prey. Jeez, I did it again. All right. So what I was actually, I said a couple of things, but I did say Piano Dean, I'm very excited about you're getting some work done. I feel like a freaking idiot. It's been a difficult week. I'm not going to lie. This has been a rough one. That's one of the reasons that I'm mixing a new drink today, the Cloaking device. So, what is a cloaking device? Well, it's two main ingredients, and we kind of invented it on the fly yesterday. So, the first ingredient is a healthy dose of Romulan ale. So, we'll get some Romulan ale in a glass here. There we go. So, I think that's a pretty healthy amount of Romulan ale. Now, then to mix with the Romulan ale, a little limoncello. And we will, assuming my theory is correct, create the first live cloaking device. Wait for it. Wait for it. I think we have successfully cloaked. Eh? All right. So, I just figured I had to do that. All right, so Thomas was first in the chat. Good to see you, Thomas. Live with Matthew, a quick second. Cloaking a new drink, indeed, RR, live for you guys. Richie says hello. Mike Richards is here from Columbus, Ohio. Aberjam is here. Good to see Aberjam. And I know I put it in the chat already. I'm sorry, I forgot to update the music. Aberjam did an updated version of that theme that you heard at the beginning. Rambling, and by the way, we're gonna free Aberjam. We're gonna free you. That we cannot, I'm sorry. The Kurogans must pay. Aberjam is one of the most talented music writers in the nerd community right now, and Kuroga is censoring him. We've got to put an end to this. Rambling Canuck says hello. Hey, my pain brother's in the house. A little late, aren't you? I was a little late, Kronos. My bad. Jeff Franklin says last again, but you're not last because death by rabies was right after you. T-Berg says, just popping in to say hi before bed. Anti-Trekkers on the anti-scheduler. Yeah, I tell you, I hate this schedule. It's driving me crazy. Valor says, Mr. Miles always first. I'm always awesome. Auntie is forever cuter than Baby Yoda. Vivian says hi and good morning, Turtistan. Hey, good to see you, Valor. And of course, you can see that Auntie is diligently sleeping. Yeah. Yep. Eric Draven says, I'm halfway through a gallon of blood wine. I'll be here as long as I can. Well, halfway through a gallon of blood wine, I'm surprised you're still here now. As Bender would say, let's go already. Now, Bender would say, bite my shiny metal ass, but that's okay. Ricky is here, says 15th. Good to see you, Ensign Ricky. And for those of you, if you have not seen it yet, you really should check out Ensign Ricky's video that released today. It's really good. Really freaking good. Corona says, well, I gone and did it. I saw Captain Marvel and really liked it. 7.9 out of 10 in my opinion. Now I'm waiting for the haters to hate me. Well, that's the thing. Like I said, I think I initially gave it a 7. I'd probably give it about a 6, 6.5 now. But it's not a horrible movie. It's just that Captain Marvel herself is too flat. Piano Dean says, made some significant progress today. For those of you that don't know, Piano Dean is working on a really, really intense song that I wrote the lyrics for. And I think it's going to be really, really good. And there's, of course, all the people screaming about the sound because I pulled a bird of prey. Night Breeze says, hi, how you doing? Please don't pull a bird. That sounds just nasty. That kind of does, doesn't it? And Ensign says, I'm here, wondering what the F is going on. Well, you're here. You need to drink 50 proof stronger, you name it, the phasing cloak, because after drinking, your skull feels like it's fused to a large stone. Not a bad idea. And Thomas says, drunk again. I'm definitely not drunk. And Night Breeze, thank you so much, my friend, throws a buck into the chat and says, down with Karoga and death to disco. You got it, my friend. Yes. Looks like Listerine, says Kronos, but then I did the cloak, and yeah, see who's laughing now. Darren says, cloaking device drink. Hey, I wonder what the self-sealing stem bolt drink would taste like. Well, the self-sealing stem bolt is actually a, I believe that is a anti-constipation medication. Cardi Player says, I want a glass. Well, sorry, I can't pass it through the internet. Blue ink. That is not blue ink. And Darren says, funny. Commander Shutter says, science. Vulcan blood wine. That would be an interesting drink. And, oh, fancy anti-checker. Bravo. Dreamer out there. I always mess up your name. Says, whoa. Richie says, cool. Guinan called. She wants her drink back. Ha, I made up that one, so she can't have it. Howard just says, black magic cocktails. And I like WK says, balance of alcohol. Very good reference there. And so, RR says, Aberdam, I understand that. Nice job. If that was the imperfect version, can't wait to hear the remastered. Oh, yeah. I haven't actually had a chance to listen to it yet either, but yes. Is that Karogan water you're drinking? No, Karogan water is a thick brown liquid. Uh-oh, the power to the cloaking device is being drained. Indeed. Continuum says, boo to Karoga, indeed. Bruce says, what's up, Anti-Checker? Hey, Bruce, hanging in there. Thomas says, this is your best schedule. No, it really isn't. Iron Wolf is in the house, says, my truck got stuck in the mud today. Anybody else have a bad day? Oh, man, let me tell you, I am in so much pain right now. That's one of the reasons I'm drinking a cloaking device. Because, yeah, I need it just to, at this point, I just finished work, obviously, just hurting, can't take it. The good news is I am going into the doctor in a couple of days. We're trying to get some workplace concessions made to allow me to take like extra breaks and stuff so I can lie down when I need to, but we'll see what happens. And Aberjam says, in your Discord are a couple of interesting confessions for Bird. One is proof that I'm held prisoner in Karoga. Oh. Now you see, you know I hate checking Discord during my live streams, but if we have proof that Bird is holding you prisoner, I think I'm going to have to go to the Discord. So let's go to the Discord. So we go to, alright, let's get Aberjam. Alright, and alright, here we go. What is this? We have two of them. This one.
I showed an Aberjam with a €2 super chat. 10K to the first one to bust me out of a Karogan jail. Well, 10K pound sterling, because I'll just bust you out right now.
Yeah, there you go. That's proof right there. Bird, actually, yes, that is an absolute proof.
I should an Aberjam with a €2 super chat. 10K to the first one to bust me out of a Corogan jail. Well, 10K pound sterling, because I'll just bust you out right now.
So Bird offered to release you if you paid him. I gotta say, that's pretty darn bad. And Fleet Paw and Jaegerbomb both put super chats in. Thank you, both of you. Give me just a moment, and Night Breeze donated another $1. Thank you, sir. And man, you guys are just going crazy. Give me just a second to finish this other thing from Aberjam. Let's see what else he had to say.
I'm a sexy Asian woman.
Okay, Bird.
I'm a sexy Asian woman.
That's just...
I'm a sexy Asian woman.
Bird, that's just creepy. So you're a sexy Asian woman who's holding Aberjam prisoner. Yeah. So Fleet Paw puts a $1.99 in and says, my bad day, my day off, I'm working now. I'm sorry, you are working now. And you know, that's... I work nights, so I gotta say, working a graveyard shift, I've actually enjoyed. But I understand it's definitely not for everyone, and it depends on the... And let's be real. If work didn't suck, they wouldn't pay us to do it. So there is that. And Jaegerbomb says, puts $10 in, says, love Hedonism Bot. About to turn 31 tomorrow. I have to pretend to fight fighters instead of targets. Was I delusional? I thought it would be Black Hawk Down, not Office Space. Guess that is life. Well, congratulations, Jaegerbomb, on 31 revolutions around the sun and not dying. Just putting a little ice in my cloak. Oh, and if you need any more proof that I'm a Klingon, just listen to my pet Tribble over here. Oops, sorry, Auntie. Come on. It's okay, girl. Didn't mean to... It's funny that what startled Auntie there was actually her bag of treats, but I caught it before it hit her. Yeah, it's okay, girl. There you go. And she's like, no, don't hit me with the treats! But you're okay. Yeah. I didn't mean to scare you. Alright. I did not kill Auntie. Auntie is just fine, as you can see. She's chewing away on her treat. I just startled her. And it's actually, this is... Just so you guys can see, this is the bag that fell. It's very, very lightweight. Even if it had hit her, it would not have hurt her. It was just enough to startle her. So, yeah. You okay, girl? Yeah. All right. Aberjam says, in your disc... I already read that. I am having a Klingon Warnog tonight. Oh, that sounds interesting. I've never had Klingon Warnog, I don't think. Bruce says, I'll get back on your donation after Friday. Sorry, but things happen. It's all love. Hey, Bruce, do not stress over it. I never, ever, ever insist that people have to donate to be my friend. So, you know, if you can't afford it right now, don't do it. Period. And then... Jaeger says, what is neo-Marxism? I have no idea. No idea. I don't care. There's one reason why Captain Marvel was wooden. During her training, she was told not to give in to anger and humor. And so that kind of makes sense. Except that the problem is that everybody kept telling her to control her emotions, and she wasn't showing any emotions. That's my whole problem with it. I'm actually okay with if that was part of her arc, that she lacked control, but at no point did she seem like she lacked control. And that's kind of what was frustrating to me, is that all that was a lie. Fleet Paw says, hey. Tom says, apparently Batman's symbols on the new costume was made a part of the gun that killed his parents. That's just stupid. No, the anti-constipation drink is the reverse ratcheting rooter, not the self-sealing stumbo. Oh, sorry, I did not know that. I'll bet that Auntie will move in the next 30 minutes, but I can't donate to get her to move, which is funny because then I dropped the bag and made her move. So, yeah. And So I didn't know you said that. I found out I have now shopped for. I found out I have to now shop for a new vehicle. So bad day. Hey, Eddie Trick, hey everyone. I'm sorry, D. I am truly sorry. I don't like shopping for vehicles, especially if you have to as opposed to want to. Sadly, even though I'm younger, I've been there. Oh, and I'm so sorry. I forgot that Nightbreeze also threw in another $1. So let me read that. It says, "Aye, sir, the more they overthink the plumbing, the easier it is to stop up the drain." And super chat number 12. And please accept my apologies, Nightbreeze.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the Lore Reloaded. I am the Lore Reloaded, your wondrous host.
You're so bad that when you come on screen, people don't drink. They punch themselves in the dick for 5 straight minutes.
Thank you, Chancellor. All right, back to the chat. In all seriousness, I have to give props to Bird. I dealt with a really crappy blow, and he doesn't whine and complain. Life dealt him a really crappy blow, and he doesn't whine and complain. He just makes the best of what he can. Yeah, absolutely. And I've said a million times that Bird is an absolute inspiration to me, and I absolutely mean that. Kenneth Hummel says, "I was wondering why the Borg never used a cloaking device. Probably because they didn't figure it was necessary, considering that they consider themselves the closest thing to perfection in the universe." Commander Shutter says, "My fiance bought me a new pair of glasses for my birthday, which is tomorrow. She wanted to make sure I could see for our wedding. Even the blind can see her beauty and her kind-heartedness." Well, there you go. That is well said, my friend, and I will be willing to bet that you are indeed marrying above your pay grade. Commander Sutter says, also, like Kirk, I feel like I won life's lottery with the best crew anyone could ask for and got glasses for their birthday. Nice. Meant to say fire, not fighters, derp. Oh, I meant to fight fires, not fighters. That makes a lot more sense. But no, you're not delusional. You're just in the real world. Good Star Trek drink names: Warp Core Breach, Spore Jump, Trilithium Device, Micro Singularity, Quantum Torpedo. And Aberjam now throws two pounds in. Yeah, pounds in. Sorry. Darth Jaloja and Birds She-Bales if possible. Darth Jaloja. Let me see. I'd have to... Where's Darth Jaloja? Well, let's go back. First of all, I have to find Darth Jaloja. Around, Bed Life. And he trigger rain. Oh, okay. Stuck in frame. Bear with me. Where is nerds? Well, there's she-males.
I have sex with she-males every day. I love having sex with she-males. I have sex with she-males every day. I love having sex with she-males.
I don't know what you mean by Darth Jaloja, though, my friend. And so you gotta tell me, what is Darth Jaloja? I mean, because obviously I remember this one.
I have sex with she-males every day. I love having sex
Oh, Darth
with
Jaloja
she-males.
equals Bird Chat 3. Gotcha. Okay, I'll be nice. Even though I shouldn't, but you produce such great music that I can't help it. I'm a sucker for people that do great things for me. Do not play.
Darth Vader, only you could be so bold. The Imperial Senate will not sit still for this. When they hear you've attacked a diplomat...
Look, I don't know why you're so pissed off. I'm not the one making out with your brother.
I don't know what you're talking about.
If the rebels have obtained a complete technical readout of this station, it is possible, however unlikely, that they might find a weakness and exploit it.
Hey guys, I figured out how to Jaloja in this suit. better. Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah, baby, that's the good stuff. Aw, crap. If she's Luke's sister, that means I'm her dad? Son of a bitch! What the f***, anti-tracker?
Ah, yes, Darth Jaloja. Thank you. And thank you, Chancellor. Chrono says, you just killed Auntie. Way to go. She is fine. As you can see, she is once again sleeping diligently. Jeff says, Mr. Miles and Anti-Checker, I'm last. You are definitely not last, because right after you is Richie Poole saying animal cruelty, and it's only cruelty if you do it on purpose, and she is definitely not hurt. I promise you. Darren says, don't be Lore. Stop punching your beagle the way he punches his cat. Obviously, I did not punch her. As you can see, she is perfectly fine. Ensign Ricky says, Andrew doesn't punch his pets, unlike other YouTube creators who shall remain nameless. Jaeger says, may I see Lore working the streets? You can, Jaeger. You can. Oh, man.
Hey, you want to learn about Jesus?
And remember, that is Bird of Prey in that Jeep right behind him. That is definitely Bird of Prey.
Hey, you want to learn about Jesus?
There's no such thing as hooker-client confidentiality.
Oh, man. Don't forget the Streamlabs donation. Thank you, Nightbreeze. And, of course, I didn't. I actually got it. And thank you, Chancellor. Dreamer out there says, is weed legal where you are? That could help you with your pain. I wish it were, Dreamer, because I will be honest with you. The only time in the last several years that I went for any period of time pain-free was when I was visiting my daughter in Oregon, where it is legal. It is not legal here, however, it is in the legislature right now. And so I'm hoping that they do choose to legalize it. Then Jaeger says, you can judge me, I can't stop you. Well, that's all right, my friend. And I will tell you, because I know people are mentioning CBD, I've tried CBD. CBD does not do squat for me, unfortunately. And it works for some people, works great for some people, does not work for others. And sadly, I am in the not work for category. Commander Iron Wolf, that's life. What all the people say, you're riding high in April, shot down in May. I don't know what's going to change that tune, but I'm back on top in June. Don't know that one, but okay. Chrono says she improved throughout the movie. And good soundtrack. I missed something there, Chronos. I am definitely... oh, you're talking about... Captain Marvel. I think that I don't think she necessarily improved. I think you just get used to her. RR says CBD oil works for wonders for all types of pain. It's pricey though. It is pricey, and I have tried it, and it didn't do squat for me. And I don't know if you saw earlier, but I sent you an article with pictures of the new Batman suit. Yes, I did see the new Batman. Well, I don't know if you sent me anything other than what I've seen. I'll take a quick look. But first of all, Fleet Paw, thank you so much, puts $1.99 in and says, what the heck? Take more of my money. And number 11, you got it. Let's wait for the announcement to come up because I don't want that to ruin your request. And while we are waiting for that, I'm going to look and see if what Thomas sent me is what I'm thinking of.
Hello, world.
I got him! Great kid! Don't get cocky.
So first look at Pattinson as the Batman. Yeah, the pictures that those pictures I've seen. Honestly, I'm not particularly impressed. I know the people have been mixed on it. I don't particularly care for it. Just being honest with you, I think Affleck was such a good Batman that it hurts to see Pattinson. Ah, yes. The classics.
Yes! Look at Aurora!
Thank you, Chancellor. Alright, so... blood wine tonight with Andorian Ale Chasers. Actually, this is my own invention. It's called the Cloaking device. Dreamer out there says, I live with a broken back and I have a rod, 2 plates, and 16 screws in my ankle. Weed, CBD helped me with the pain a lot. Wow. Man, you see, and that... When I hear that, it's like I feel stupid because look, I know my pain is real, but when I hear about crap like what you're going through, I'm like, well, I guess I should shut up. But man, my heart's out to you, man. Iron Wolf says, notice how N-Trigger skips my comment when I put out that I'm younger than him. I must have missed it, Iron Wolf. It was not intentional. But, you know, you're a dick. Darth Jaloja, Birdchat 3, yep, got that now. Thomas says, as soon as I finish buying the tanks for the Turkestani army, you will be making me pay for myself, and I can super chat after that. All right, my friend, that's okay. And you know what, Thomas, you have given so much that even if you never super chat again, you will always be a friend of the channel, unless, of course, you become a filthy Kurogan. Bird has officially lost his mind. Poor man, he has. Holy crap, can't believe Bird said that. Yeah, indeed. Alexander's in the house. My favorite crazy man is here. Says, hey, how are you now? I'm okay, my friend. By the way, Alexander, of course, as always, no hard feelings from our arguing earlier today. I always want to stress, as I've said many times before, we can fight, we can fight, but at the end of the day, we are always still friends. Turkestan needs to liberate Kuroga and place the deranged dictator in rehab, and that is hysterical. I can Jaloja in the suit. I can't breathe. Well, yeah, that's Darth Bird. Or Darth Jaloja, as Aberjam called it. And now I'm lost because the chat screwed up, so bear with me. How did it get all the way back there? Good drink names, read that. You can judge me, read that. Blood wine, read that. Darth Jaloja, Turkestan needs to liberate. Okay. You didn't finish reading my Star Trek list of Star Trek drinks: the Replicator Mine, the Waste Extraction, the Crazed Vol, and the Vulcan Love Slave. Well, the Vulcan Love Slave doesn't sound right. I would say Orion Love Slave. Now, that could be a drink. Auntie could be in a coma now. I'm pretty sure she... hold on. We'll test it. I'll reach for the bag. I'll quietly grab the... Yeah, she's definitely not in a coma. See, as soon as I grab her treat bag, she's like, oh, yeah, there we go. That's the good stuff. There you go. Daniel says, could the Romulans have created the Borg in the future? This is how it could work. The Romulans from the future maybe the 27th century create the Borg, and they go back to the 24th. I don't think so. Jace M says, did you and Lore have a falling out? Not particularly. Is that is Bird of Prey, pick Lore and drag up again. That is Bird of Prey 5, pick Lore and drag up again. Well, yeah, Bird of Prey 5 is definitely in that Jeep. I mean, if you look at that, I mean, look. It's the shortest super chat, so it's all right. So if you look carefully in the background, this was filmed before Bird of Prey was bedridden. And so Bird is definitely in that Jeep. In fact, I think that this incident is what put Bird in a hospital bed. I think that his talking about the condition that he's had is an absolute lie. And I think I messed up here. So, yeah, turn that off. There. All right. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Chancellor. Let's see. The Borg go back to the 24th century for some reason, ran into Picard. Then years later, First Contact, they go back to 2063, and First Contact, April 4th, 2063. I don't think that makes any sense, Daniel. Let's see. You just don't do the LDS. I will avoid the LDS. Why is there no hooker-client confidentiality? I don't know. That's a legal precedent, though. Excuse me. Let's see. Iron Wolf says, I was quoting the lyrics from Frank Sinatra's That's Life. Ah, well, you see, not being a huge Sinatra fan is probably why I didn't get that. What does your shirt say? Spoiler alert. What? Man, you make me try to get up, and you realize my back is killing me, but there we go. Spoiler alert. Everybody dies. Whew. Daniel says, and sent a message to the Delta Quadrant because no one because the Borg were created by future Romulans. Wobbly, wobbly, timey, wimey. That makes no sense. That makes absolutely no sense. That life, that's life. The song "Bad Life" is based on. Actually, I think that. Auntie, what are you doing? Oh, get back here. Everybody wants to see you. Don't be running away. Come on. Yeah, see, you can get here. I'll put that. You want this? Yeah, see. Come on. Yeah. See, now you want to come over here. Yeah. All right. Yeah, you need to stay in your bed. Where was I? Afternoon, Antrigger, fellow nerds. Hey, Renegade. Iron Wolf says, you ever going to force Joshua to do remastered versions of your classic Super Chats? No, I will not force him, but maybe you will. Don't count Robert Pattinson out. He's good in Lighthouse. Also, there's Tenet coming up soon, too. What is Tenet? Is Tenet supposed to be in the... Batman? Like, you know, I don't know. Look. I'm sure that, and Andrew JR008, and you still didn't explain your name. Why is it Andrew JR008? Because is your name Andrew? You associate with J.R. Ewing, and you're a 00 agent, even though you're Canadian. That doesn't make sense, but that's the best I can come up with. Number 23 is what you want. So number 23 is what you shall have. Thank you, Chancellor. All right, so back to Yeager was saying don't count Robert Pattinson out. He was good in Lighthouse. Also, there's Tenet. I'm not sure what you mean by Tenet, but as far as Robert Pattinson, don't get me wrong. I know it's easy to make fun of him because of Twilight. I'm not saying that the boy can't act. What I'm saying is that he doesn't look like freaking Batman to me. All right, so that's my... and so, whatever. Maybe he'll be awesome. But, you know, the first person that I was really excited about the casting as Batman was Ben Affleck. And I'm sorry, I don't care what any of you people say, Ben Affleck was the best damn Batman we ever got on film. It was unfortunate that he was in the movies he was, but damn, he was good. With Picard and the lady who loves Data, what if she is a part of the Time Police? That makes no sense. Dreamers out there says, Andrew, didn't mean to diminish your pain. What are you going through is valid. Just wanted to say I understand what is being paid. No, but here's the thing. Look, with the stuff you've been through, you should be drinking a cloaking device, my friend. Average M says, don't know if you've seen it, but Captain Trek did a brilliant video of Bird interviewing you. Yeah. It's not that she missed, it's that you read, it's not that she missed it, it's that you read, I said I was younger than you, but been there, and then you read the super chat and said, oh, I'm sorry. Well, it was not intentional, my friend. Even if it was. B. Arthur dressed as a KGB agent is the correct choice. That would be hilarious. Chrono says that was just a reflex action. Vulcan Love Slave was the name of a holo novel series available at Quarks on Deep Space Nine. It was a running gag on the show. That's why it sounded familiar. I didn't quite make the connection, but now that makes sense. Josh says, "Hello, Auntie Checker. You didn't even make it to the bag before Auntie looked up." I know she knows when I'm going for the treats. I can confirm there are no Vulcan love slaves in Kuroga, Auntie Checker. Only Romulan she-males. Well, we know. I really do wish we could get you out of there, Aberjam. I know we will get you out of there eventually. Because, we got to get you out of there.
I have sex with she-males every day. I love having sex with she-males. I have sex with she-males every day. I love having sex with she-males.
Okay, Bird, whatever you say. And Alexander says, "I'll go to sleep soon. I work soon in the morning. I'm going to other 70 hours a week. I have a radio intervention for my job by phone." Not sure what that means, but all right, you have a good night, Alexander. The vehicle in the hooker, the vehicle in that hooker lore video doesn't look like a Jeep. It looks like an SUV to me. You're gonna make me stop and show you. Look. That right there, if you look. Let's see if we can pause it here. Okay. That vehicle directly behind Lore's, shoulder, in between the tree and Lore there, that is a Jeep Grand Cherokee, my friend. So, yeah, that is definitely a Jeep Grand Cherokee. All right, Renegade says, Voyager episode, Dragon's Teeth had... Oh, thank you, Chancellor. Didn't mean to interrupt you. Voyager episode, Dragon's Teeth, had the Vadwar, who had been in cryo for over 900 years, mentioned that they knew of the Borg, but that was a small race. Well, that's the thing. The Borg have obviously been around in the past, and so to set their origin in the future really doesn't make much sense. The T'Pol Perky Nipples Decontamination, that's a cocktail name. The Vulcan Nipple. Or just the decon chamber. It doesn't change that Asa, Muslim wife born in the USSR, is the best choice. Well, she certainly is for you, unless she's reaching out to Bird of Prey 5. And, Alexander, you should talk to her, because I think she sent a letter to Bird of Prey 5. Spoiler alert, you could have just said it. Thanks for the effort, however. No problem, Kronos. Michael the Crawford has risen today. Hallelujah. Super chats we now must pay. Hallelujah. Wow. Stuart says, remember the cue that said, don't F with the Borg? I don't think that's quite what he said. The Borg had been created by the Baku after the first Baku bread went wrong. I don't think that's quite how it went. All the people Picard should have called 7 of 9. Of all people Picard should have called 7 of 9 Annika. Well, it depends. Maybe she goes by 7. Why... It's up to her what her name is. I mean, Annika was her original name, but then now she identifies as 7 of 9. Because here's the thing. If Annika was that important, they would have just called her Annika by the end of Voyager. Adam says, theory, the Borg humanoid combined with technology, while the Queen is an android combined with flesh. Only an android brain could possibly monitor the Borg collective. I hope that's not the case. However, I like my Borg theory better, Adam. And if you haven't seen it, check out my Borg theory videos because it's a doozy. Andy Checker, 2 more days to go till Star Trek Picard Episode 5. Indeed, looking forward to it, my friend. Does Star Trek Picard use the Universal Translator like we understand most other versions of Trek did, except for the Klingors? Well, that's a good question. And here's the thing. I think this is the better question. Do non-Starfleet personnel normally walk around with universal translators? Because if you're referring to the Romulan Death Squad saying, speak English and all that crap, well, Daj is a civilian, and so why would she have a universal translator in her apartment? Everybody dies. Rose, justice once. Everybody dies. The only good Batman was Christian Bale. Wrong answer, Jay. I'm sorry, Christian Bale was a lousy Batman. He was a good Bruce Wayne, but he was a lousy effing Batman. People said Michael Keaton couldn't be Batman. Very true. I was one of them. I was a naysayer about Michael Keaton, and I was absolutely wrong. Think we'll all see Nightwing, Red Hood, Red Robin in films? They're totally overlooked. No, I do not. Maybe Nightwing, maybe, but only after we see Robin for a couple of films. So maybe Robin and then Nightwing. I don't think we're ever going to get Red Hood or Red Robin. Because quite frankly, only the diehard comic fans know even of their existence. Tenet is in the upcoming movie from Christopher Nolan, another mind-bender like Inception. Well, every Christopher Nolan movie is a mind-bender, so we'll see if it's any good. Wait, is that drink green? No, it's cloaked. Ben Affleck was better as Daredevil. I gotta say this. I know a lot of people diss Daredevil, but the Daredevil director's cut is pretty damn good. Mr. Mouse says, I don't drink, but I have something that helps with the pain. It would also appear to be cloaked on a green screen. LOL. Yeah, I wish I could get some of that, Mr. Miles, because that would work a whole lot better than alcohol. But unfortunately, where I live, it ain't legal, but alcohol is, so that's what I'm stuck with. Honestly, I don't like to drink that much. I would much rather be doing that stuff. Never count teen acting. Tom Cruise was in Eternal Love in 1980, and he's absolutely excellent today. I just wish he was in the Marvel movies as the Punisher. I don't think Tom Cruise would make a good Punisher. I have a theory. Picard. The end. Betty White cosplaying the Borg Queen is the correct choice. Wow, that would be weird. She-males on females is not a bad idea. Okay. Don't judge, you can judge, no one can stop you. That's true. Another Star Trek dink idea, the Captain Baudet, another running gag on Deep Space Nine. I don't remember the Captain's Baudet. JPED says, please don't say treats. My cat can hear you, and she expects some then. I'm sorry, I did not mean to say treats. I will try to refrain from saying treats so that your cat does not hear me say treats and expect you to give your cat treats anymore. I will not say treats after that last instance of me saying treats. That was the last time I'm saying treats. Never again. That's not Hooker lore. That's TJ Hooker on Vice Patrol. Thomas says you need to put all the clips of Bird of Prey together. That would be an hour-long video. And Night Breeze makes yet another donation. Thank you, my friend. And says, the charges and specifications are conspiracy, assault on Federation officers, theft of Federation property, namely the Starship Enterprise, sabotage of the USS Excelsior, willful destruction of Federation property, and it looks like MegaChat. Is that MegaChat 4? Well, technically it should be an Uber chat. Well, you did that, so I'll let you have it. What the heck?
I may have a It's not clean. Repeat, I do not have a clean Take the bloody
There it is.
Death to Carora!
Bird O Prey 5 enjoys that Bond because it has the best Bond girl for him. Did you get the line from Birdstream when he said something about something pooping on him? I did not. Ben Affleck was a better Daredevil. I already read that. I think you're repeating your comments because I didn't read it quick enough. So remember, I am way behind in the comments, but I do eventually get to them as long as you put my name in them. Darren says, is a Grand Cherokee an actual Jeep, though? I always assumed... I assume Bird was always talking about the type of vehicle, not the brand. No, Bird loves the Grand Cherokee. He's talked about the Grand Cherokee before. The dinosaurs who left the Earth in Voyager are way superior to the Federation. The Voth could give the Borg a run for their money. I doubt it, to be honest with you. Pattinson, 33, Michael Keaton, 38, irrelevant. Mr. Miles says, do you think the Borg Collective is still around Picard, or do you think Janeway wiped the Collective out? I tend to think that Janeway wiped the Collective out, but we shall see. Alexander puts a whole lot of happy faces about 7 of 9. The vodka snorting game could be called Daggers of the Mind. There you go. I'm getting tired of your mispronunciation. 7 of 9 is Anakin, and it's Supernova. I'm sorry. I struggle with that. John Wong says, Anti-Checker is GOAT. Lore Reloaded is just a jerk. Oh, now, come on. Lore Reloaded is a friend of mine. He lives right down the street. Daniel says, 7 of 9, yummy. What do you think she tastes like, Anti-Checker? Well, human-ish with a little bit of cybernetics. Andrew says, Anti-Checker since I was 15. Okay. I must have missed part of that. I would bet UTs are commonplace in Trek. They are nearly commonplace today with our smartphone. UTs? What are these UTs you speak of? Remember, you're talking to an old guy. Romulan Death Squad may have said speak English because audio bugs might pick up that they were really speaking Romulan. Or, like I said, as a civilian, Dodge wouldn't have a universal translator. Oh, universal translator. Thank you, Mr. Miles. Here's the thing. Yes, they are a common... You can get a translator app, and it's a commonplace thing. And I get that. But, you know what you don't walk around with? Your smartphone set to translate anything and everything that's set around it. So, what makes you think that she would? 7 of 9 is 5'10". T'Pol is the hottest woman. Is 5 out of 10. T'Pol is the hottest woman in Star Trek? I gotta disagree with that. I think Q said not to provoke the Borg. You are correct. Stuart said, the Borg Queen was a trap to slow down the Borg, but did not go to pain as the Queen effed Picard and Data may have many space STD. Stuart, are you okay? That sentence just did not make sense to me. Yeager says, one can dream of seeing Red Hood on the big screen. You can dream all you want. Still ain't going to happen. In retrospect, I think the people who criticized the casting of Michael Keaton were right. He wasn't right for the part. We've had better Batman actors like Affleck and Bale. I disagree with you in part, Darren. I think Affleck was far better. I think Bale was not. Don't tell me we'll never get a Nightwing movie. I love Nightwing more than Batman. He's a better character. Well, you know what? Here's the problem. The general public don't know who the hell he is. I didn't post my full comment. JR is my first and last initial. 8 is my choice jersey number. And 00 is a play of the secret agent, which I've done in many usernames since I was 15. Gotcha. Dreamers out there says, I still don't understand what Speak English line is all about. Why is it important to speak English? If Zat Vash... It had to be reminded about that. They are crappy secret agents. Well, yeah, I think that it was just to... Honestly, the reason for the line is simple. They wanted to establish they weren't human without showing their faces. Why did Picard put his finger up to his ear to answer Ralphie? Because he was in privacy mode, apparently. It was stupid, I admit. Darren says, Captain Baudet was an alien with transparent skull who dated every female character on Deep Space Nine. They never showed him and just talked about him like Chief on Star Trek, or Chef on Star Trek Enterprise. Okay, yes. Now I remember them talking about. I didn't realize that he had dated every female. Ralph says, I was surprised how many phasers were hidden in Picard's home, so God bless Second Amendment in the 24th century. I take running a vineyard as dangerous work. Actually, Ralph, that makes perfect sense to me. Keep in mind, and granted, I know you wouldn't know this unless you read the comic book, and I never read the comic book, but Bird of Prey told me about it, is that the two Romulan house slaves of Picard's are both former Tal Shiar agents. And of course, they knew that the whatever they're called, the Vash stupids, were after Picard. And as such, they stashed phasers all over the frickin' place because they knew the death squads were coming. I was surprised how many... I already read that. Anti-Checker in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Doctor Strange will go to every Marvel universe from 1998 Blade Universe, 2000 X-Men Universe, and the rest, making them canon. Doubt it. Did someone say treats? I don't know if someone said treats, but I promised I wouldn't say treats, so I'm not going to say treats because that could trigger certain people's cats, and I don't want to trigger any cats by saying treats. So don't put treats in the comments. Is that a Bond intro? Indeed it is. It is Uber 1. I couldn't remember what the second level was. Answer looks Scotty did get off for sabotage. Yeah, Scotty did kind of get off for sabotage, didn't he? Yeah. Before I did you say something the other day about wishing you could redo the opening live stream credits, but because you did in After Effects, you didn't know how to remake it? Yeah, I did say that. And I'm sure you could do it without you barely blink your eyes and get it done. I hate you. Dick is the best Robin, says Commander Iron Wolf. And then Jun Wong throws $2 Australian in there, says, wrong! Kim Cattrall is the hottest Vulcan. Grrr! Well, here's the thing, though. I gotta say this, June. Now, I don't think that Kim Cattrall was, like, unattractive. Not my favorite. But, and by the way, and Death by Rabies also, fist bump. Thank you, Death by Rabies, my favorite fist-bumping friend. All right, so, but June, you put $2 Australian in, so you know what that means. You know what that means.
Oi, it's my Aussie accent. It's the dingoes. We have to worry about the dingoes and the roos. The dingoes and the roos, they fight. And the shrimp fall off the Barbie.
Yes! Look at Aurora!
Using Fusion. I haven't tried to do something quite that intricate on Fusion yet. Now that I can see again, I need eye bleach. Thank you. You're welcome. Why doesn't bleach work anymore, Checker? I hope the bleach companies are giving you a cut of the sales. Shirtless dancing lore brings them. Unfortunately, they don't. WTF, says JP's. Yes, that is Lore Reloaded as a Bond girl. Mr. Miles says, if you want, I can remake your live stream intro and then send you the project file so you can modify them wherever you want. That would be cool. I'll break it down for you as far as how I wanted to do it. And Orville Nation throws $5 in. Thank you so much, Orville, and we'll wait for the announcement, blah, blah, blah.
Hello, world.
There we go. And while I'm waiting for that, Fleet Paw throws $1.99 in. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, my friend. Let's see. Fleet Paws. It's got to pop up any second here. Maybe. Come on. Where is it? Where's Fleet Paws? Now you're gonna screw me over? Seriously? It says I know as soon as. There we go.
Hello, world.
And yes, I need to get this thing updated. I know, I'm horrible about that. Did you notice Flame not freeze when Picard told the computer to hold on the holodeck? Well, we haven't gotten to that part of my nitpicking videos. I'm hoping to have my second nitpicking video out tomorrow. But yes, we will. Yes, I did notice that. Fleet Paw puts a $1.99, says, my ears and trigger, never do that again. Number 17. You got it.
Hey, you want to learn about Jesus?
There's no such thing as hooker-client confidentiality.
So, yeah, Bird using an Australian accent hurts your ears.
Death!
But you're good with watching Laura walk down the street and drag. Gotcha. If you want, you can remake your life. I already read that, but yes, we need to talk about that. Indy says, just heard of this product called Hemp Vana. Supposed to help with pain, similar to CBD oil. Yeah, CBD, unfortunately, the only part of hemp that works is the other active ingredient. Thanks for mentioning the BSG miniseries. Never seen it. Answered a lot of questions. However, I hate Cylons becoming almost human, though. It took me out of it. I didn't like that either at first. I liked what they did with him eventually, but in the beginning I knew it was just a way to save money on the effects budget. F's in the chat for shirtless Laura. June says, perhaps get your gear in a van and leave hippie road trip. I've considered it several times. Jeff says the Borg were created by the Packlids in the far future, were flung around the sun back to 2020, where Bird of Prey 5 gives them super intelligence. Bird then sends them to the Delta Quadrant. Wow, that would be great. Valor says, so someone wanted the Naked Aunt May super chat. Haven't seen it for a long time. That's because it doesn't exist. Sorry. I understand that certain people like Naked Aunt May, but yeah. Michael Keaton is the best Batman ever. I disagree, Daniel. I still think that Ben Affleck is. Thomas says, as a channel I follow, I noticed that the premiere they did for YouTube with 1,000 watching. Later, YouTube didn't count those views after the premiere ended. There's probably then a problem with what was the reporting system. Antrigger doesn't know what UT is. He apparently has never watched Star Trek Enterprise. Shut up. Here's an idea for a fanfic. How I Met Your Symbiont. Wow. Jaeger says, good night, drink on. Okay. I'm just saying the universal translator technology is not all that rare in Trek. You originally asked if regular people outside of Starfleet would have universal translators. I'm just showing you why it makes sense they would. I get that, but the thing is that if you're out in the field, right, you're out exploring the universe, it would make sense that you would have a universal translator on all the time. If you're on Earth, it wouldn't. Antrigger in Enterprise Season 3, the Borg Queen would have been revealed to be a doctor from the 22nd century, and she would have been assimilated by the Borg. I know that was a proposed story for Season 5, but here's the thing, Daniel, that never happened, so end of discussion. Exactly what part of I said about Michael Keaton as Batman did you disagree with? I said both Bale and Affleck were better, and you said Affleck was better than Bale. Yes, but Keaton was also better than Bale. Asian Muslim Adam West, born in the USSR, is always the best Batman. Wow, that's creepy. Iron Wolf says, there's no trying to quote the biggest badass of all, Sam L.J. speak English mother effer. Picard put his finger up to his ear because they're using the same invisible earpieces they were using in the first Avengers movie. That must be it. They ate called the Zat Vash. I know they're called the Zat Vash, but I choose to forget. Carl Urban would make a great Batman, for example. He was great in Judge Dredd. Well, Judge Dredd and Batman are different characters, even though they have certain similarities. Would you let Cybok share your pain? Why the hell not? Do they speak English in what? Do they speak English in what? I'm not sure what you mean. If you're asking why would they say speak English, because they were in, what was it, Boston, I think? I think the secret Romulan task force was called the Jumpin' Jack Flash. That would be weird. You can never have enough DACA and Shata in your home. Note, Daka and Shata is the orc name for guns and rifles. Excuse me. Yeah, well, I suppose if you're a gun collector, sure. Night Breeze, okay, I won't put treats in the chat, even though Auntie deserves treats, and everyone should donate to keep Auntie in treats. Auntie does love them treats. So Romulans went to the send guns, lawyers, and money method. Send guns, lawyers, and money method. Well, the Romulans, here's the thing. The Romulans were super secret agents from the Tal Shiar, right? And RR, thank you so much, puts $5 in. Says, Anti-Trucker, I agree that Ben Affleck was a great Batman, but even though he only did the voice, in my opinion, Kevin Conroy is the definitive Batman. Well, I love Kevin Conroy's voice acting, but I don't count that as the same thing as a live-action Batman. Because Kevin Conroy obviously never had to physically play the part. Pattinson does. But I understand that. Anyway, but as far, but thank you, my friend. I truly appreciate it. The Romulans sending guns, lawyers, and money method. I'm not sure exactly what you mean. Oh, and that was a quote. Okay, gotcha. Thank you, Mr. Miles. Australian dollars are banned. Nope, they definitely are not. It's been a long road getting from there to here. It's been a long road. I can't sing worth a crap. Ralph says, do they trick or treat in Star Trek? By the way, for my pain, I find Moss tequila, cigars, and aspirin helps. Sounds like an interesting regimen. You could add Bird of Prey looking out the window of the house behind Lore when he looks into the car. I love nitpicking videos, but you need to do a whole episode, not just up to the theme song. Well, Silver, that's why the next video that I'm currently trying to get past the copyright bots will have the rest of that episode. So there you go. Do they ever look at the position players' names on cues on first? I have not yet, number one. I'm sorry, I've not had a chance. I've been, the work thing has been, it's been wearing me out, and I've been in too much pain and just trying to get my video done. But I will, I swear. Phantom Menace says, in Australia history, the army went to war with ostriches and the animals. They won, kinda, because the army ran out of ammo, and I left. I think that's how it went. I think it was the emus, not the ostriches. I just realized Top Gun 2 comes out 1 month before the air show here in Kennewick, which is where there will be an F-18 Growler and other jets. What movies are you excited for this year? Honestly, this year is kind of, whatever. I'm not that excited this year. All this Batman talk, did you mention the Pattinson teaser and probably the gun that killed his parents as part of the chess Batwing? Yes! Top Gun 2, Tom Cruise is still 6'2" and 35 because he said so. Okay. Neo Normie says, check your Twitter. Bird of Prey became Chick o' Prey. Jeez. I don't know if I want to check my Twitter then. Let's see. Wow. Wow. That's... Wow. So someone used the Face app on... Let me see. I'll bring it up. That's the wrong... Move out of the way, Tribble. Yeah, get over it. There you go. Bird of Prey as a chick. And I'm not sure what the blend there is, but yeah. Yeah. Thank you for hurting me. Wasn't Dodge's boyfriend an alien? Maybe she had a universal translator on because he didn't speak English. Or maybe he just spoke English. Who 50 years ago would have thought nearly everyone would have a computer that fits in their hand and is far more powerful than the computers that flew astronauts to the moon? Nobody? Darren says, you think that tiny, balding, skinny Michael Keaton was more appropriate Batman than tall, dark, handsome, and in-shape Christian Bale. Okay. You know what? I was one of the people that said, Michael Keaton is Batman? Hell no. And then he played the part, and I was like, holy crap, he was good. When Christian Bale was cast, I was like, ooh, that sounds good. And I was utterly disappointed with, you're the hockey man. Aliens could speak their language when they are with their own kind. One thing that bothers me of the Hobbit movies is the mild conversation Legolas goes from Elvish to English. I don't like that either. I do not think the Death Squad was sent for Dodge. They were sent by the Admiral to knock off Picard because she's seen him and is a threat to her position. So you think that the Admiral is running the Romulans. That is also why she reactivates his commission. That is also why she did reactivate his commission, but she didn't reactivate his commission. So why shouldn't nearly everyone, have a universal translator in the very late 24th century? Again, Jeff, I didn't say you couldn't have one, but why would you have it turned on at the ready at all times? It's a waste of energy. Why, it's like, look, do you sit there and go to your Google apps and turn on Google Translate and leave it on when you're just sitting around the house? The answer is no. And you know what? If somebody is trying to kill you, you're probably not worried about translating what they're saying. Kenneth says, how about Willem Dafoe as the Joker? Sure, 30 years ago. Fleet Paw says, Coneheads, astronauts to the moon. Hee hee. Number 8. And yep, that is true. Commander Animal says a quote from Pulp Fiction. Yes, I got that now, Mr. Miles told me because I'm old and didn't get it. Valor says the Naked Lord dancing is actually Naked Aunt May dancing. Ah, that must be. I guess you endorsed Paul Giamatti as Batman? No. I'm saying Michael Keaton did a surprisingly good job. That's it. Play Ozzy Bird one more time and I'll get him to sing Faith of the Heart. I swear to God I'll do it. I'm a desperate man. What, you're saying you want Ozzy Bird?
Oi, it's my Aussie accent. It's the dingoes. We have to worry about the dingoes and the roos. The dingoes and the roos, they fight. And the shrimp fall off the Barbie. And in Tasmania, they're all cousins. The cousins marrying each other. Tasmania is what you Americans would call Alabama.
Alright, I'll stop making you suffer. And Logan puts $5 Canadian in. FYI, I just watched 2007 movie, and the Romulus star was a yellow star, not a white-blue star. I understand that. I've heard people argue about that before, but here's the problem. And I do get that, but here's the thing is that okay, first of all, that was originally meant to be the Hobus star system, and it was originally going to destroy the entire galaxy. They then retconned that to be the Romulan star system, and people will argue about what type of star the Romulan star system had and all that. Now, one thing that I think is 100% true is that we do not know every star type that there is out there. We've only observed things, and there's the $1.99 from Fleet Paw. Thank you, my friend. And I will get to you in just a second. But we make these assumptions that we know everything. And that's the hubris that I don't like, is that these arguments are based on hubris. They're based on the idea that we know everything about the universe, and it is absolutely inconceivable that there could be a supernova other than anything that we personally know, even though 99.9% of the people making these arguments know jack squat about the subject matter compared to an actual PhD. So what did I do? I got an actual PhD to explain the physics of a supernova, because that is specifically the term that they use, is a supernova, and what that would do. But now people got to find a reason it couldn't be a supernova. Well, then the lines were wrong. And so whatever. Either the visual effect was wrong, the line was wrong, or there's another kind of star that we simply don't know about. Now, don't get me wrong, Logan. I'm not pissed off at you in the slightest. But the point is that I don't believe for 1 second that this should be the subject of a massive fight. And I mean, if you seriously want to draw your line in the sand over this supernova not being 100% scientifically accurate, fine. But then do not tell me that you like any prior Star Trek series, because there are a buttload of scientific inaccuracies in every single Star Trek series, from TOS through Picard. Every one of them has scientific inaccuracies. And so to sit there and get the people getting their panties in a bunch over the supernova is just stupid. And the funny thing is that these same people are sitting there saying, oh my God, Star Trek used to be 100% science and now it's just fantasy. You are freaking deluding yourself if you want to actually believe that Picard is any less scientifically accurate than prior iterations of Trek. That's just a fact. And I'm really tired of these arguments. I'm sorry. It's not you. I'm not mad at you, Logan, but it's just something that's a little frustrating. Meanwhile, Fleet Paw puts a $1.99 in and says, ice pick in my ear hurts less than Aussie Bird, number 25.
This isn't the first time I've been tormented by a poop emoji.
And there you go. The actual Picard super chat. Strangely, nobody's been requesting that one. Thank you, Chancellor. Nobody's been requesting that one despite people hating on Picard. Nightbreeze puts in a $1 and says, you've heard of animals chewing off a leg to escape a trap. There's an animal kind of trick. A human would remain in the trap, endure the pain, feigning death, that he might kill the trapper and remove the threat to his kind. Anti-treat and hail the hypnoturd. Not sure what the point of that exactly was, Nightbreeze, but okay. Auntie, you want a treat? You don't want a treat? Oh, you do want a treat? Okay, you can have it. All right, so, and hypnoturd. You can make me do the hypnoturd. Here we go. All hail the hypnoturd. You must love the hypnoturd. For the hypnoturd is love. The hypnoturd is life. The hypnoturd is you. You must give in to the hypnoturd. You are the hypnoturd. Give yourself to the hypnoturd. Surrender to the hypnoturd.
Death to Corona!
Man, making me work. All right, where were we? Play Aussie Bird one more time and I'll get... I already read that. Or did you put it in multiple times? One of the two. If they were to recast TNG Crew with younger actors, what current actors would you use? I would not use any known actors. I would bring in an entirely unknown cast. That's how I would do it. Is Top Gun 2 going to have crews in space? Last clip we saw seems to be something to do with Christian Scientists. I haven't seen that, but I doubt it. My understanding is the Top Gun 2 is going to be about drones. Is that Bird of Prey's inflatable doll? Not sure what you mean. Top Gun 2, new man film of the year. We'll see. We didn't need to see Bird as a chick. You're supposed to shield us from that kind of stuff. Sorry, Darren. The way I judge someone as a kid, they do not remember the Apollo land. The way I judge someone as a kid is if they do not remember their Apollo landings. Well, then I'm not a kid. Now that Elon Musk is planning to build Starship spacecraft at the rate of 2 per week at $5 million apiece, then do you think he'll pick Utopia Planitia as an early Mars landing site? Doubt it, and I don't think you can make spaceships for $5 million apiece. 50 years ago, it was 1970, so Douglas Adams predicted pocket computers, namely the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Fair point. Affleck from Batman v Superman, my choice for best live-action Batman. I could see him fighting the more superhuman Batman villains like Clayface and Man-Bat 2. Agreed. Fandom says, I saw Children of Mars short trek and it answered some questions, but it brought up some more questions. Okay. Not bad if you like fat chicks. Okay. In Little Green Men, Quark, Ram, and Nog, Universal Translator was in their ears. So, they also, here's the thing, Quark, Nog, and Ram also live on a space station where people from all over the galaxy hang out. So, of course, you would constantly have a Universal Translator on, as opposed to living in Boston. Leaving the Universal Translator on is a waste of energy. Dude, Picard just using holograms to feel more comfortable. That's a waste of energy, but apparently they can afford it. So Universal Translator would be nothing. You know, well, fine. You know everything. In Enterprise on Earth, they had around building Universal Translators, like around embassies and places of pleasure, in which Dodge was at neither. Man of Sand says, have you seen Andromeda? What's your opinion of it? I've seen it, but it's been so long I barely remember it. I just know I didn't get into it. Just says, ugh, I'm going to hack your computer and get rid of Aussie O'Prey. Well, good luck. I've always found the 1989 Batman movie to be highly overrated. Batman Returns was a minor improvement in my view. The first Batman film I loved was Begins. Well, I disagree with you on all counts. I really enjoyed 1989 movie. I think the Batman Returns sucked ass. And quite frankly, I think that Batman Begins was pretty darn good, but definitely not the first Batman movie I loved. Can Bird of Prey do a German accent? Well, you'd have to ask Bird. Z says, and by the way, sucked ass hyperbole. I admit I don't really think it sucked ass. I thought it was too dark. I didn't like it. And I thought Catwoman was stupid. It would be useful now to run around with on a future with easy transport anywhere in the world. People would just speak whatever they speak, where they live, like a babblefish. I understand the concept, but you know what? Here's the thing. She clearly didn't have one, so get over it. Why are people getting all worked up over these stupid nitpicky details? Because here's the thing. Yes, you can pick on that all day long, and that's perfectly fine if you want to do that for fun. But that's not a reason the show sucked. Because you know what? You can pick apart any episode of any Trek series and come up with a buttload of problems. And people are just pretending that those problems don't exist. And you know what? If I was to pick apart Best of Both Worlds or Chain of Command or Balance of Terror, then they'd say, oh, Anti-Trek, you're just being a dick. But when you do it to a Picard episode, then all of a sudden that's every single one of those is a reason to hate the show. That's my problem with it. You can argue about it all day long, but ultimately it's pointless. Either you accept the show or you don't, and obviously a lot of people don't accept the show. All right, that's the problem. Is that I don't understand. You know, it's not. I'm sorry, it's not the Universal Translator. It's not the fact that even the things that tick me off, like the shuttlecrafts, right? That's not why the show is great or sucks. Those are you know what I'm saying? Those are stupid, superficial things. All right, and like the supernova being 100% scientifically accurate, that is meaningless compared to the story, the plot, the acting. Now, I'm the first to admit that the biggest weakness of the series is the contemporary writing. I don't like that any more than anybody else does. But to get into it over the universal translator of all things when she's a freaking civilian, you know what? We have never followed the life of a civilian on Earth before. Yes, we've seen civilians on Earth before, but we've never really followed them in any kind of depth. And now, all of a sudden, everybody's trying to make all these grandiose assumptions. It's like, and here's a good one. When I was on that stupid Midnight's Edge panel, and everybody was saying, well, everybody would have a warp-capable ship. Why the hell do you make that assumption? The reason you make that assumption is because you don't like the show. So the fact that everybody doesn't have a warp-capable ship isn't the problem. You're just trying to come up with more excuses to hate the show. How about we get to the real problem? But nobody wants to talk about the real problem. Because the real problem is people just want a clone of Star Trek The Next Generation, and that ain't going to happen. It would be useful now to... I already read that. Matthew Fox should play Batman as the guy from Lost. He'd be perfect for Frank Miller, Dark Knight Returns. I don't want an old... Ben Affleck would have been too perfect for it. I'm for a younger Batman. I just don't think Robert Pattinson is a great choice. Guys, Trek, science, all MacGuffins. Yes. The kind of star that goes supernova, I'm not going to even get into that. Tentacle, I'm done fighting over this. All right. Either, you don't give a frack about what kind of star it is. Because you know what? You didn't give a crap about any of the other supernovas that have happened in Trek. Nobody did. The only supernova that anybody gives a damn about is the Romulan supernova. There have been a dozen supernovas in Trek over the years, and guess what? None of them have been accurate. And yet, everybody wants to pick on this one because they already hate the show. Tell me something new. Sorry, Tribble. Well, I'm not sorry. You're a Tribble. I'm not going to fight over the damn supernova because it means nothing. It doesn't mean anything to you. It doesn't mean anything to me. It's a pointless argument because you're just trying to find a reason to hate the show. Why don't you talk about why you hate the show? Because it ain't the damn supernova. Because if it was the damn supernova, you'd hate every Star Trek episode that had a supernova. The Q and the Gray had how many supernovae? I don't know. But more than one. Yeah, I pissed off the Tribble. The better explanation of the Romulan star's decay would have been a failed quantum singularity experiment. Yeah, whatever. Q, blow up the star. Why? Bored? And Andy Checker, fire. Phantom Menace says, Phantoms always argue about little things. I know, but here's the thing. We've argued about little things in a positive light. And that's what pisses me off here. Is that it used to be... It genuinely used to be that we Star Trek fans, Star Wars fans, the fandom in general of all these scientific franchises would argue about this stuff in the spirit of fun, in the spirit of, trying to figure out and nail down the canon. Now, it's just an argument like you're trying to say it sucks, and the other person says, no, it doesn't, and you're not arguing over anything of any import. You're arguing over the same BS things that we've argued about before, except now all of a sudden you hate the show. Well, if you hate Trek, don't freaking watch it. I'm sorry, if you hate Star Trek, stop watching Star Trek. End of discussion. Fleet Paw says the Q and the... Oh, I already read that. I don't know how many supernovas were in that episode, but a number of them. But I'm not going to entertain any more supernova arguments unless you're willing to say that... Unless you want to talk about every damn supernova in the history of Trek. The better explanation for the Romulan star's decay... I already read that. Losing it. Large enough supernova could destroy a neighboring star system with just gamma radiation. Actually, like I said, Ralph, and that's the thing. I brought in a damn PhD, and people still want to argue. I'm done. You know what? Take it up with Dr. Alex. He's a damn PhD in cosmology. I'm done. I'm not going to argue I'm not going to pretend to know as much about supernova as Dr. Alex. Are you? Apparently you are. And if you want to, please, by all means, take it up with Dr. Alex. But I'm done. I am done on the supernova BS. Because you're not arguing about anything of any import. You're not really arguing about what you care about. If you really think that the fact that the supernova is not scientifically accurate is a make or break deal with this show, then why the hell do you like any episode of Trek? Because you know what else is impossible? Warp drive. You know what else is impossible? Transporters. You know what else is impossible? Shields. You know what else is impossible? Phasers. All right, so don't give me some bullshit argument about supernovas when you're perfectly fine with everything else that's impossible in Trek. At least supernovas actually happen. For me, it's not whether a supernova can do that. I've hated that since 2009. The Romulan Empire should have been devastated by a civil war. That would have been more interesting, but unfortunately the supernova was already canon, and they were working within the established canon, which I know, for some reason, people will be canon Nazis, except for if it's what they don't like. You know, that's the funny thing. How long would it take for Romulan warbird to travel 50 light years? I don't know what the maximum speed of a Romulan warbird is, Tentacle. The Picard animation super chat makes no sense. Yeah, I know. It really doesn't. Joshua just made that one day. A quote from a great sci-fi novel. I'm not sure what you mean. Someone needs to make a Photoshop of the Grand Nagus head over Anti-Trekker when he gets into his high-pitched, nasally rants. Wow, that's kind of mean. I personally think DS9 was the most scientifically accurate of the Treks, but compared to Picard, is pretty close. I don't think the thing about the Romulan blood becoming acid, though. Commander Ironwolf! The Romulan blood is not... Shut up, Tribble! The Romulan blood is not acid! My God! Have you watched the episode? They've shown it in multiple times now. If the Romulans, not Vash, whatever the hell they're called, bite down on a freaking suicide pill that releases acid, and then they spit it as a last desperate move to kill their target. They showed it twice. They showed it twice. Nowhere in Trek do we see Romulans with acid blood. And yet we're arguing about that. Suspension of disbelief is a funny thing. It's all personal bias, so you can show something accurate and people will find it unbelievable. That's true. You know, the funny thing is that if they actually did do it 100% accurate, people would find it completely unbelievable. And someone predisposed to hating something and their suspension can be broken by any tiny detail. You are 100% correct, Renegade. 100%. And that's the problem. The people that are hating on Picard, quite frankly, most of them hated Picard before the first episode aired. Right? And that's why I got pissed off at some of the Phantom Menace. That's why... and I'm sorry, did I miss something there? Thank you for... And thank you. I did not see that, Mr. Miles, while I was ranting so hard. Editor Supreme put in $2 and then $1. The first one, take a drink. You need it. Thank you. And then stop letting Tentacle Pentacle derail you. You skipped my last super chat, jerk. Well, now I got it. Thank you, Editor Supreme. I am truly sorry. It was not intentional. Anyway, but yeah, you're right. Here's the thing. These people have absolutely decided before the first most of the... I'm sorry, it's just a fact. Most of the people right now that are hating on Picard hardcore, they hated Picard before the first episode aired. They hated Picard because Alex Kurtzman is involved in the production. They hated Picard because of some stupid interview with Patrick Stewart talking about Brexit, right? That has nothing to do with what's on screen. So you want to hate Picard because of things that have nothing to do with the show? Good freaking luck. Have a great day. Bye. I'm not playing that game. And quite frankly, that's why I called out people in streams, people that I respect and I know and I care about. I'm done with the BS. If you want to hate the show just because Alex Kurtzman or J.J. Abrams or whoever the hell is involved with it, then you're being every bit as bigoted and stupid as any SJW. You need to watch the damn show and judge it for what it is, rather than judge it and then watch it and justify your opinions. Because the whole thing with the supernova is just people trying to justify their hatred of the show. Because, like I said, there have been a dozen supernovas in Star Trek, and none of them were any more accurate than this one. And Commander Shutter puts $2 in, says, take a drink. Thank you, Commander. This I gotta say, this cloaking device is pretty good. And my choice, well, why the hell not? We've been on a lore reloaded roll.
Hey, you want to learn about Jesus?
There's no such thing as hooker-client confidentiality.
Ah, yes, classics.
Death to Carora!
And thank you, Chancellor. The greatest Klingon who ever lived, Martok. Cedric Taylor 08 puts $5 in, says, easy, my friend. I'm still in a hospital, but I catch you when I can. It's copper-based blood. It is! But here's the thing. The acid blood, and I'm sorry for going off on you about that. I think it was Commander Shutter, but I don't know, whoever said that. I apologize for going off on the blood thing, but you know what? I've seen people have made videos about it. People are bitching about this acid blood thing, and it is clearly 100%. Look at the clip. You see, the first time you see it, the guy does this. And people think that he just magically started bleeding acid, you know. And then we saw it again when they had the one Romulan trapped in Chateau Picard. And so it happened twice, and it was very, very painfully clear that it was a suicide pill, and yet people still want to pretend that it's acid blood because they're just trying to find an excuse to hate the show that they already hated before they watched. And I don't give a crap about if you hate the show after watching it, if you watch Picard, and here's the thing, I can understand that because, and I've said this, if you grew up loving Picard, if you think Jean-Luc Picard is your Luke Skywalker, he's your idealistic hero, you love him to death, and then you see this show and you realize that he is making mistakes, that he is playing wrong, that he abandoned people, and you're like, this ain't my Picard, no thank you. I'm totally on board with that. That's not how I view Picard. To me, Picard was always damaged goods. And thank you, Indy Tiger, as well. Picard was always damaged goods. Picard was always full of hubris. He was always arrogant. He was, and quite frankly, I think that this is good for this franchise that he's getting his comeuppance. And thank you, Steven. All right, so let me get these super chats and then back to the chat. So RR puts $4.99 and says, great rant, Anti-Checker. Your feelings do you credit, but they could be used to serve the dark side. Indeed. Unfortunately, people will say how crazy I am because I have the nerve to not hate the damn show before I see it. Wow, I'm such a horrible guy. You know, I all these idiots on Twitter, and I'm sorry, these people are freaking idiots on Twitter. Oh, Anti-Trucker is just a Kurtzman shill now. People are actually saying that crap because I don't, and I'm not even, it's not like I'm giving every episode a 9 out of 10 or something. The highest score I've given an episode is 7 out of 10. And yeah, people are saying, oh, he's a Kurtzman shill. He's a Kurtzman defender. He just loves the new Trek. I can't believe he likes Discovery, but doesn't defend or he likes Picard, but he doesn't defend Discovery. What's wrong with this guy? See that all over the place, and it's like, what the hell is wrong with you people? So Steven throws $2 in. No question. Thanks for fighting the good fight. Thank you, Steven. And you know what? And the funny thing is, all I'm fighting for is to not hate the damn show before you watch it. Indy says, unexpected supernovas are examples of climate change because of warp drive. Science is conclusive. And here's the thing. As silly as that sounds, that right there could be the explanation. People are thinking, well, we would know for hundreds of years beforehand, before that supernova happened. There's no way that a supernova could ever sneak up on us because we know everything. Really? We know everything? F you. You are not a damn scientist if you want to sit there with that level of confidence and say that we know everything. That just tells me that you are an idiot when it comes to science. Because the one thing that any true scientist knows is that we don't know squat. That everything, that's the whole point of science, is to try and learn this stuff. And, you know, one thing that I love about particularly the cosmic sciences, astronomy and cosmology and that kind of stuff, is that the more you learn, the more questions we have, which means the less we know. It's amazing. You know, every time we send a probe to a planet to uncover some mystery, there are 100 more mysteries that we discover. Holy crap, is that awesome or what? The universe is so much more than anything that we could possibly imagine, and yet, oh no, this supernova, there's no way it could happen like that. No. We know everything about supernova. Really? Based on what? We've observed every star in the universe? Tell me, how many star samples have we collected from the universe? Because, you know, is it possible? I'm not saying likely. I'm saying, is it possible that there are stars out there made out of elements that we haven't even discovered yet? Is it possible? And Commander Iron Wolf throws $2 in and says, shut up and take my money. All right, I'll shut up. And so since you want me to shut up, we'll listen to somebody else talk for a minute.
Oi, it's my Aussie accent.
Okay, I won't make you suffer that long. Thank you, Chancellor. I take it the Remans were a slave race, the Romulans, which were destroyed because there was not enough room on Picard's plantation. Yeah, who knows what happened to the Remans? So far, there's been zero mention of them on Picard, which is kind of disappointing, but I'd like to know. I hear Michael Burnham says that she loves her turd empire and the leader is better than her, and she loves her homeland Turdistan. Wow, Carlo, them's fighting words right there. Wow, his reply to me, then you know everything. Sorry, Mr. Miles, I'm a little feisty right now. When Picard uses holograms, I only see him interact with them on the new ship. When did Picard use holograms? I only see him interact. Well, that's the only time. He's talking about on the holodeck on the ship. And that's the problem, Mr. Miles. And I should have been more eloquent about it rather than just say you know everything. He was on a freaking holodeck on the ship. A room designed to do it, right? And so maybe Picard was feeling homesick. Maybe he figured he was justified because Picard is very full of himself. He always has been. And he feels that, well, me being comfortable is more important. Because here's the thing. Picard has personally commandeered this dude's holodeck and turned it into his private office. What kind of dick move is that? Do you use a VPN? And if you do, which one do you use? Actually, I have. I'm not currently using one, but I'm going to get one because, unfortunately, while I have massive internet speed, I have fiber optic internet, but the provider I use throttles YouTube, so I'm constantly getting buffering on YouTube. So I'm going to start using VPN again. I used Nord in the past. It's pretty darn good. I know that they had that data breach a while back, but personally, I think they're probably the most solid out there, and they're both most reasonably priced if you buy their 3-year plan. Why do you hate Batman Returns? Bird of Prey 5 stars as the Penguin. Well, that's part of the reason. I will say this. I did not like Danny DeVito's Penguin. When I heard Danny DeVito was cast as the Penguin, I thought it was genius. And then when I saw it, and he's like got that black gook coming out of his mouth all the time, and he's just nasty and foul, and I'm like, you know, he was just, and yeah, it was too much. I didn't like it. I thought it was distasteful. You know, biting into raw fish. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying he's never done that in the comic books, but you know what? The darker comic books are not what made Batman great. you know, the super dark stuff with starting with Dark Knight Returns, that's not what made Batman great. At least not in my opinion. I saw the definition of weak today on Star Trek Discovery. Pike tells number 1 to remove all hologram displays in the Enterprise because he doesn't like them, and Kirk kept it that way. Right, exactly. That was stupid. Mr. Miles says, I made a good point. The response is fine. You know everything in Trigger. That's extremely rude. You know, type of, I know. I'm sorry, Mr. Miles. I do apologize. That was rude of me. And Fleet Paul says, all right, man, have a good night. I'm out. Live long and prosper. Take care, Fleet Paul, and thank you, my friend. I do appreciate your generosity. Sorry if I went on a little bit of a tangent there, but you know me. I do that. Are you getting after other people for being nitpicky after that recent video of yours? Okay, hey, you should see the one I'm working on. It's even worse. But here's the thing, and like I was saying in my rant of rantiness, is that I am all for nitpicking and fighting over this stuff in the spirit of fun. I am not interested in doing it in the spirit of hatred, which is what so many people are doing. And that is honestly what's driving me freaking nuts. It's not that people are nitpicking. Even the supernova thing, we can argue about the supernova. The problem is people are using the supernova as a damn excuse to hate the show, even though they're sitting there, you know, perfectly okay with the supernovas from the hiding Q. They're perfectly okay with the supernovas from other episodes, like All Our Yesterdays and stuff like that. They're perfectly okay with all the supernovas we've ever seen in Star Trek, except for this one. Why? Because they hate this show. So they don't hate the show because of the supernova. They hate the supernova because it's this show. And that's that way with everything they're arguing about. They're not arguing about any core issue. They're not arguing about anything that really matters except for the people that say it doesn't feel like Trek. Okay, you can make that case, and I'm with you on that. I think that there are some problems there with the writing. But if you look now, as far as the contemporary writing, I think that's a genuine problem. I've said all along, and hey, Anna, good to see you. I've said all along that I think that contemporary writing is a massive problem in Picard. I absolutely can't stand it. That being said, the plot, the story is very Trek. And if you don't believe it's very Trek, then you better start rejecting every story that had to do with corruption in Starfleet, every story that had to do with alien infiltration in Starfleet, every story that had to do with all the crap that we're seeing in Picard. Because nothing we're seeing in Picard, this is all stuff we've seen in Trek before. And so, yeah. And Andrew says, you skipped over my super chat. Did I? Did I skip your super chat? I did not mean to, Andrew. I am truly sorry if I did. Truly, I am sorry. And number 22, you got it, my friend. Hit that button. Yes, Ryan Johnson. That is like the creepiest picture of Ryan Johnson ever. All right, so Darren says, are you getting after other people? Oh, I already read that. I fell asleep. You woke me up with your screaming. Sorry, sir. You're quite passionate tonight. Yeah, I'm feeling grumpy. What can I say? It's been the pain in my back has been really bad. That's been aggravating me. And quite frankly, like the crap going on Twitter, I'm done with this kind of crap. Right? I'm done with people trying to drag Doomcock through the mud and then trying to deny that they dragged Doomcock through the mud. I'm tired of people attacking me for stuff that doesn't even make sense, for lying about so. Oh well, why are you saying that a supernova would take out 500 light years? I never said that. Never once did I say that. I defy anybody to find me saying that, because I didn't say that. And in fact, the whole supernova thing was from a frickin' PhD in cosmology, not from me anyway. But that's okay. people want to be dicks about it, they can be dicks about it. Whatever. I can't control that. But, you know, you know what? It's okay if you don't like it, but at least don't like it for what it is, as opposed to don't like it because Alex Kurtzman is involved. R says, anti-trigger rant. Yeah. Feeling a bit better now? Yeah, I'm all good now. Have you read John Price's review yet? You can hear Robert Meyer Burnett read it on his latest episode 4 review. No, I haven't. Is Universal Translator super important in the TOS episode? Bread and Circumstances, Spock and McCoy didn't have a Universal Translator, but understood the Romans. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like the Universal Translator. The funny thing is that in the episode, The Changeling, I think it was, no, was it no, not The Changeling. Oh, geez. I'm forgetting what it's called now. I can't believe I'm forgetting it. It's the one with where we first meet Zephyr Cochrane and the companion, but anyway, they actually fabricate a Universal Translator like they didn't have one. And so, you know, it's, you know, and then after that, they just kind of assume that everybody always has one. Yeah, saying everybody would have a warp-capable ship is like saying because the Navy has reactor vessels, everybody would have a reactor vessel. Yeah, that's true. Jedi Wanderer of the Moonlight. That's a new one. I love that name, by the way. I remember one of those panels at Midnight's Edge. They do look like reason to claim. I think, well, and here's the thing. I'm not trying to point the finger at Midnight's Edge or anybody else. Metamorphosis. Thank you. Yeah, Changeling, Metamorphosis. That's why I was getting confused. But yeah, in Metamorphosis, they actually fabricated a Universal Translator. But don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to pick on Midnight's Edge. I love Tom and Rob. Right? Just like I love Anna, that Star Wars girl. I love Mecha Random. I love Doomcock. I love Gary. You know, these guys are great. They're my friends. I respect them. And yes, I disagree with them, and that's okay. But what I'm getting pissy about is when everybody wants to make the biggest deal out of the smallest things. And they don't want to talk about what's really important. I think that we would expect a lot better for films and shows these days, and now they're realizing that only the CGI or cinematography is a lot better, the story and dialogue is getting weak. I think the dialogue is getting weak, but I don't think the story in Picard is that bad. Which I know some people find horribly offensive for me to say that, but whatever. I think we expect a lot better for films and shows these days, and now they're realizing. Oh, I already read that. I'm tired. I just started watching, and I have to say, I like Star Trek Picard. Each episode is getting better. I can't wait for the next one. I actually think that I wouldn't say each episode is getting better. I think that episode 2 and 3 were not quite as good as episode 1, but I do think that episode 4 was better than, it was the best episode of the season so far. And that's one of the reasons that many on Twitter have been trying to throw hate at me and saying I'm a shill and all this BS. Because, oh my God, how can he actually like it? You know, what? Just because I like something that you don't, that means I'm a shill? You know, if you really believe I'm a shill, you have never paid any attention to my channel. And so, good riddance, quite frankly. If you can sit there with a straight face and say I'm a shill, then you don't know me at all. You're wrong, Gail. I don't hate the show. I said I like the show. The show is not science, is my point. No Star Trek show is science, is my point. Is that when people want to sit there, and the thing is, Tentacle, if you don't dislike the show, then stop picking on it on my streams. But if you don't like the show, I'm perfectly fine with that, but let's talk about the real problems of the show. Let's not argue about a supernova that's just as unrealistic as every other supernova in the history of Star Trek. Because here's the thing, if you want to say how egregious this supernova is, then let's talk about every supernova in Trek. That's the only fair way to do it. Because if you want to say that this supernova is breaking it for you, and I know that's not what you're saying, Tentacle, but that's the point. If you want to say that this supernova absolutely breaks Trek, then damn it, you better be able to show me how every other supernova in Trek was 100% scientifically accurate, or at least more accurate than this one. Good evening, Anti-Trigger. I'm here with all 4 pulse cannons ablazing. How you doing, Defiant? Good to see you, my friend. And thank you so much. I appreciate it. And Andrew throws in another 5 Canadian bucks. People mad about Supernova forget the biggest crime of 2009 is the destruction of Vulcan. Kelvin UFP taken over by Romulans within 100 years. I gotta say, I think that destroying Vulcan was definitely a bigger problem with that film than the Hobart Supernova. Now, granted, I am glad, and I said this after I saw Picard Episode 1. I generally hate retcons. I really, really hate retcons. But this is one of those extremely rare times that I welcome a retcon, because I liked the fact that they changed it from being the Hobart star system to being the Romulan star system, because that makes a whole lot more sense. It really does. And that's why I had Dr. Alex on to explain the effects of a supernova, and yet people still want to say it's impossible, even though I had a freaking PhD show otherwise. Because, you know what? Look, and Anna, I don't know if you're still here. You know I love you. I have nothing but respect for you. And same with Doomcock and Gary and Mecca. But you know what I'm willing to bet money on right now? I will whip out $100 right now and bet that none of you are PhDs in cosmology. I would be willing to bet that money. Now, if you can show me that you actually are, I'll pay up. But I don't think that Doomcock, that Gary, that you, or Mecca are PhDs in cosmology. And I had a damn PhD explain how a supernova works, and people still want to say how I'm wrong about the supernovas. Whatever. Let's see. Are the two sisters in trouble? Well, one of them's dead. The other one, I don't know. Tentacle says, don't put words in my mouth, and you don't know what I think. Well, I didn't, and I didn't claim to. One thing I miss in Picard, I was talking about people in general that are arguing about this stuff. One thing I miss in Picard, those nifty morality plays we got in TOS, TNG, DS9, and Voyager. That's something that doesn't seem likely to happen in Picard. Well, Picard is a serialized show, and that's a problem. That's another thing that people don't understand. This is a different type of show, not just because it's more modern or whatever, but well, it is because it's more. It's a serialized show. It doesn't work the same way as an episodic show. And like it or hate it, that's the style they went with. Now, you know what? Mandalorian, great show. But, you know, and I think that the reason that people were more accepting of Mandalorian than, say, Picard isn't a matter of quality or how good the show is, as much as people are either offended or not offended by the way that the character Picard is being treated. I am not offended by it, but some people are. And it's interesting to see the divisions, because the divisions are not the same as they were over the other stuff, which is a good thing. It's a good thing that it's not, you know, it's not people arguing about wokeness and diversity for diversity's sake and crap like that. Yes, some people are still trying to argue that, even though that's not what Picard is about, clearly. But, you know, but then again, this show is, you know, if you really found Picard's character near and dear to your heart and you felt that he was a pillar of morality, then yeah, you're going to have problems with the show. And I understand that. I do. And I sympathize with if that's how you feel, and that's why you might be hurt by this show. And that's something you can argue with me, and I will say that's a fair point, but arguing with me over a damn supernova isn't. You know, arguing with me over a universal translator is stupid. Arguing over Romulans having acid blood is ignorance. Pure and simple. It's not paying attention to the show. Daniel starts off on Midnight's Edge and Mecca. Again, it's not about the people, it's about the ideas. Please don't confuse that, Daniels. You got to stop throwing the hate back at them, because you know what? Throwing hate at individuals is not helpful, all right? I am not pissed off at Mecca. I am not pissed off at Midnight's Edge. I'm certainly not pissed off at Anna if she's still here. I'm not pissed off at Gary. I'm not pissed off at any of these guys, right? I am pissed off at some of the losers on Twitter that are just trying to use it to get attention. But as far as the people I've actually discussed it with, do I have a grudge against any of these people? Hell no. And are they entitled to their opinions? Absolutely. But I also want to get to the real issue here. I don't want to argue with you guys all day long about supernovas and universal translators when come on. I mean, if you even watched Trek, if that's what you think breaks it, then I don't think you have. Picard doesn't have enough wrinkles for his age. Okay, that's a different one. FYI, if you're unsure of Pattinson, check him out in High Life and Lighthouse. The dude is versatile and has chops. I'm not saying he doesn't. I'm just saying that physically he doesn't match the part to me. Have a great night. Have a good one, Night Breeze, even though you left like 30 minutes ago because I'm so far behind. Jedi Wander, I gotta speed it up. Thank you. You are right. If you hate Trek, don't watch the show. People that don't listen to that advice, easy, big guy, take a breather. I'm fine. When parsecs explode, I would watch Dr. Alex agree with what? We'll see planets explode a lot in film, but I've always wondered if they even could. I like Picard, and I'm eager for more. Well, that is a, the thing that would kill you is not planets exploding. Like, when you see the Romulan planet blowing apart in Star Trek 2009, granted, if you're that close to a supernova, if it was the Romulan sun that did it, I could see that. But really, what gets you is the radiation. Lesson learned, stop using those damn PhDs, apparently. RR says, hail, how you doing? Captain MKG is in the house. Do you have a super chat that is supernova themed? Not yet. I might have to do that. Whoa, enter warp core breach imminent. I'm all right. Ralph says, the biggest issue I have with supernova in Star Trek 2009 with the red matter that caused black hole in the Sol system. By the way, so a supernova is a plot device. Big deal. Yeah. We are okay with Nazis, hippies, and Abraham Lincoln in space, but a supernova breaks Trek. Exactly. That makes no sense. Man O Sand says, have you seen the first episode of Space Command? I have not yet. Tentacle says, Warp 9, how long would it take to travel 50 light years? I don't know that off the top of my head, Tentacle. I'm not a freaking mathematician. Look it up on Memory Alpha. Do you have a point? And don't forget about these totally unrealistic turbo lifts in Star Trek. Well, yeah, we got it. The turbo lifts in Discovery are just stupid. I mean, that is stupid. And that's the stupidity there is that's not a canon issue. That is just like, really, that's what you're pretending that the inside of a ship looks like? Because inside it looks like it's 100 miles across, and outside it doesn't. So what the hell are you even doing? That was just stupid. And that's the thing, is that like when you see those turbo lifts, it's like, what were they even trying to do with that? Warp 8 cruising speed if you like. Again, Tentacle, what is your point? Loquisha says, so do you think whether or not people accept the Picard show is how much they like the character in TNG? Because if so, one could argue you're actually the one who doesn't like Trek. No, because you know what? Here's the thing. I think that it's not about appreciating Star Trek The Next Generation. It's about the character of Picard and what you think of that character. There are characters that you may like the character, but you may not agree with the character. I'm not saying Picard was even a bad character, especially towards the end. I thought he was a brilliant character, and I think that Patrick Stewart played Picard extremely well after season 3. But if you look at TNG, Picard was arrogant. Picard was a blowhard. Picard had a lot of issues, but that didn't make him a bad character. In fact, if anything, that made him a better character. And that's something that people miss out on, is that good characters are flawed characters, and Picard is clearly a flawed character. He always has been. It's just that now he's being called out on his BS, and some people don't like that. Some people are offended by that because maybe they agreed with him in the past. Maybe they liked the fact that Picard was such an anti-theist, right? Maybe they liked the fact that Picard was preaching the Federation gospel. Maybe they liked the fact that Picard clearly was oblivious to the suffering of poor people because he was so rich, right? But so now people are offended by that. I have said years upon years ago that it's really easy to sit there and say that mankind just does what is good to enrich themselves and to better yourselves and everything when you're the guy that owns a freaking mansion in the south of France. It's really easy to say that. Because clearly not everybody owns a mansion in the south of France, and not anybody can just have one if they want one. So no, there are rich people and poor people. And Picard is just oblivious, as many people who are middle class and upper middle class are. They don't understand that there are genuinely people suffering. Just like how people in America and people in most Western European nations genuinely believe that if you're struggling to pay your bills, that you're suffering, right? That if you're stressed out about the cost of health care, you're suffering, right? They don't stop to think about the fact that a very large portion of the world's population is starving to death right now. They don't stop to think about the fact that they are in the top 1% just because they're people that have internet. All right? They think that they're struggling, that they have real world issues. No, you don't. Nobody that can hear my voice right now is suffering, relatively speaking. You want suffering? Go to a damn third world nation. You know, but don't tell me what an incredible struggle it is because you have to pay your student loans. Look, I get it. It's stressful. It's difficult. Everybody has stress in their life. But don't talk to me about suffering when you are in a first world nation. You are living the life of luxury, and you can say, oh, that's a load of crap because I had to eat top ramen. Well, you had food. A lot of people don't. Try hanging out in Uganda for a couple of days and see how much you're suffering. Seriously, you want to see suffering? Go to Uganda right now. You know what? Our church, the church that I attend, I will hook you up with our people that are going to Uganda so that you can go there, because our church bought an orphanage and we're trying to make a difference in that country. You know what's interesting about Uganda? When you go through customs in Uganda, they say you better not bring anything of any value with you because the customs agents will steal it. That's how corrupt Uganda is. Yeah, talk to me about how horrible it is that sometimes the police pull you over and it's not justified. You know, go ahead, talk to me about that. And we'll talk about Uganda. You keep yelling or you're all going to find out what a supernova does. The rage is strong today. I understand why, but I know you still love us. I do, man. You know what? This is my therapy here. I love hanging out with you guys. You know, it's 1:30 in the morning for me. It's 1 in the morning. Sorry. I should be in bed, but I would rather be up with you guys because you guys are freaking awesome. You guys make my day. You guys are the reason, you know, I don't like my job. I'm in pain all the time. And you know what? I make it through the day because I look forward to right now. I would tell you a joke and some of the good stuff if it were legal in the air place where the way you were acting about the supernova. I know it's other people, though. It's all right. Fandom says, we probably have some form of technology that you said will not exist in Star Trek at some point, so you know what the right can't we much wait what we probably will have some form of all the technology that you said will not exist in Star Trek at some point. You do know that, right? Can't we do much of the technology, at least in theory? Here's the thing, fandom. There are certain things that aren't. No, you know what? Transporters are an impossibility unless quantum mechanics are wrong. Transporters are actually, that's why they came up with Heisenberg compensators. Do you know what Heisenberg compensators are? Bullshit. That's what they are. The Heisenberg compensator is just an excuse to violate the Heisenberg uncertainty principle. You know, and, you know, sure, some of the stuff, absolutely. Is warp drive theoretically possible? Well, good luck producing enough energy to create a warp field. You know, but sure. Let's see. Captain Trek says, I'm tired of all the bitching about the crap that does not matter and arguing about crap that we're not qualified qualified to. Can you shut up so that if you don't like the show, do not watch? Agreed. And that's the thing. If you really hate the show that much, I understand criticism. Don't get me wrong. If somebody wants to put out a real criticism of the show, I have zero problem with that whatsoever. But real criticism and ranting are two different things, right? Ranting is something you do because you're emotionally involved. Criticism should not be emotional. And so if you are getting emotional in it about it, then maybe you shouldn't watch the show if you hate it that much. Robert Meyer Burnett was cautiously optimistic about Picard going in, but he has serious issues with it, and he definitely did not go in hating it. That's fine. I haven't watched his videos on it. You know what? I respect Robert. I've only talked to him one time, but I have respect for him. And if he doesn't like it, that's perfectly fine. You know what? Enjoying a piece of cinema or television is subjective. You know, there's a reason that some people love Spider-Man, some people love Batman. They're polar opposite types of characters, but for a lot of people, Spider-Man is their favorite superhero. For a lot of people, Batman is their favorite superhero. It's completely subjective. Some people just don't like superheroes, right? Some people don't like any kind of comic book entertainment. Some people don't like movies. Some people love movies. That's all subjective. And that's understandably, and that's perfectly okay for you to not like it. What's not okay is if you're that emotionally involved with it that you actually hate it, that you get that emotionally worked up about it, then damn, maybe you shouldn't be watching it. Unless you have some other motivation. Jedi Wanderer says, I'm a fan of Menace Member. I love Picard. I don't hate it. Hail Trek. You know what? I'm a fan of Menace Member as well. I'm proud of it. I know some people think I'm not a fan of Menace because I liked, I didn't love, but I thought that Rise of Skywalker was okay, and I like Picard. Oh my God, I'm this horrible heretic within the Phantom Menace, but I still consider myself part of the Phantom Menace because you know what? I'm sick and damn tired of people inserting their SJW political nonsense into my favorite franchises just as much as any of the people that we've been talking about. Where's Trump and Brexit being shoved down my throat in Picard? Good question. And here's the funny thing about that, SC, is that I'm sure that from Patrick Stewart's perspective and Alex Kurtzman's perspective, it's all over it. It's certainly obvious, right? They said that the Romulans were stand-ins for Mexican immigrants, and yet, the closest you get to it is that the Mexicans or that the Romulans are working Picard's fields, but that's about it. And yeah, it's not over the top in this show like it was in Discovery, and that's something I appreciate. But a lot of people can't see that. They since they heard Picard say it's about Brexit and Trump supporters and whatever, that they already hated it. You know what? I didn't like when I heard that about Klingons, but the difference is that with Klingons it was blatantly true. Have you seen Logan, where Patrick Stewart played old Professor X? Do you think he's trying to deliberately look old and feeble on Picard, or he's not acting? No, he's just old. You realize Logan was just a few years ago. Patrick Stewart is old. That's not him acting old. That is if you listen to Patrick Stewart in an interview, he's like, I'm Patrick Stewart. He is fighting to get the words out, which is why I said when they announced, when they actually announced this show, when they said they're making Picard, I was like, no, he's too old for the part. I was a naysayer from the beginning, and I came to love the show. Well, I don't love it, but I really like the show. And the reason I like the show is because I like the story, I like the plot. I don't like the dialogue, which is why I don't love it. And despite the fact that Patrick Stewart sounds like he's about to keel over at any second, he's still carrying himself as Patrick Stewart as Picard. I liked him. The thing I didn't like about Old Man Professor X in Logan is that didn't feel like Professor X. Because you know what? Professor X never said the F word. So, yeah. Anyway, so back to the technology mentioned. The technology mentioned in Star Trek, at least theoretically possible right now, some of it anyway. Phantom Menace, you really, here's the thing. Theoretically possible doesn't mean possible. People confuse those two things. What that means is that we can't prove it's impossible. That's what theoretically possible means. For example, it's not a direct logical contradiction like saying that something is a square circle. But that being said, is warp drive practically possible? Probably not. Is time travel possible? No. I think time travel is, in fact, logically impossible. We see that in Trek all the time. Nobody cares about it. What about the multiple reality thing, where every possible decision you make actually spawns a new universe? That, I'm sorry, is stupid. It is not true. It is simply a mathematical anomaly in quantum mechanics, and people want to take a freaking mathematical anomaly in an algorithm as proof that multiple universes exist. That there's a billion, trillion, quintillion versions of yourself making every possible decision that you could have made in your life. Not everything Alex Kurtzman produces is horrible. Fringe was pretty good. I actually liked Fringe. And JJ is not a hack. I'm sorry. Anybody that says JJ is a hack, I'm sorry. You tell me about how horrible Mission Impossible 3 was and how horrible Regarding Henry were. Those are some pretty freaking good movies. Do I like his work on Star Trek and Star Wars? Well, not particularly. I think his Star Wars work was better than his Star Trek work, but neither are my favorites. But that doesn't make him a hack just because I didn't like those movies. Oh, it depends on lens flares. You know what? Newsflash, not every J.J. Abrams production is full of lens flares. What's your current most favorite sci-fi TV show that's not Trek? The Expanse. Hands down. Don't give yourself a heart attack, ranting, please. It looks like you could with the rage. Just be careful, that's all I'm saying. Don't worry, fandom. I am well in control, and I appreciate that. Picard should be judged by what is seen in the show, not by what rumors and myths, but facts. That's the problem with people talking things out of with a grain of salt as truth and facts. I know. And that's one of the reasons that I'm so willing to engage with my friends and fellow members of the Fandom Menace about this, is because I do think that a lot of the Fandom Menace are doing exactly that. If you engage in these rumors and you talk about these rumors and this behind the scenes BS that's always going on in this stuff, then yeah, you're going to get to hate this stuff. Guess what? If you really, seriously, look at the crap that happened with Captain Marvel, right? Everybody was talking about how horrible Captain Marvel's going to be. Why? It had nothing to do with the quality of Captain Marvel. It had to do with the fact that Brie Larson is a left-wing nut job, and guess what? Almost everybody in Hollywood is a left-wing nut job. Welcome to the club. If left-wing nut job is a qualifier for bad entertainment, then you might as well just never see a movie or TV show again. End of story. That's why I don't watch gossip shows. That's why I don't give a crap about behind the scenes. That's why I don't want to see Patrick Stewart's interview about Brexit. Because I already know he's a left-wing nut job. He's a freaking actor in Hollywood. So of course he's a left-wing nut job. I don't need to see an interview with him to prove that. What I care about is Picard any good? Darren says, I don't use Twitter. You know why? Because nothing good ever happens posting on social media. Well, technically, YouTube is social media. And you do post on YouTube. I've heard people say he's a bit too... He bit his tongue to let blood out. If there's blood, it's acid. I would hate getting paper cut. That's a load of crap, Carlo. Watch the freaking show. That is I'm sorry. Nobody bites their tongue like this. Nobody bites their tongue like that. And by the way, why would they all do that? And if they bled acid, why is it that when What's-His-Face got his head chopped off, you didn't see it disintegrate in acid? RR says that's very true. Of course it is. I said it, I guess, maybe. Loquisha says, my mom knew nothing about the show production or anything behind the scenes, and she likes it. When I told her about the political stuff Stuart talked about, she said she noticed it, but it didn't bother her because Trek always had commentary, and I didn't think it was much more heavy-handed. She's also very liberal, though. But you know what? That's true. Star Trek has always been a little left-leaning, and Star Trek has always had some political commentary in it. But as long as it's not heavy-handed, I'm cool with that. As long as it doesn't beat you over the head with stuff, I like it. even if I disagree with some of the social commentary. Can we please get Tentacle Pentacle on a panel? That would probably be a bad idea. E. Paris says, I'd love to say, but I got to get up in 5 hours, so I'm off to bed. Great live stream. Thank you, my friend, and I know that was a long time ago because I'm way behind. And now what? Man, you guys just, I'm just like getting hit from every direction now. Don't even know what that was. Some person on Twitter talking about me, I'm sure. And there's Daniel talking about Mecha Midnight's Edge again. Please don't stop, Daniels, please. We don't need... This is not about pointing the fingers at other people. Picard commandeered his holodeck. Ever heard he who pays the piper calls the tune? Well, fair enough. Got to love the Dunning-Kruger effect. I don't know what that is. Daniel, you know what? Please stop repeating your comment. You're just loading up the chat with it. Renegade said these people who are nitpicking on Nova are the same people fine with Voyager spending 3 seasons desperately hunting for deuterium and then a season later admitting it's everywhere. Well, not only that, but what about, how many photon torpedoes does Voyager have? How many shuttlecrafts does Voyager have? How many inconsistencies are there in Voyager? And yet nobody is screaming about how much they hate Voyager. What show or movie has been the most pleasant surprise for you? That's a tough one. I'm going to say Braveheart. And the reason is because I didn't even know about Braveheart until Mrs. Antchecker took me to see it. She surprised me with it. She was very clever. In those days, there was no internet. And so, well, there was internet, but we didn't have it. And she kept it a secret from me because she knew I cared about my Scottish roots. And she took me to see it, and I had no idea what I was in for, and it was a complete surprise. I loved every minute of it. I suggested the Photoshop in the spirit of fun that you edit Bird of Praise, could edit it to add as super chat options. And that's the thing, great example, by the way, X, is that me and Bird of Prey make fun of each other all the time, right? Guess what? Bird and I are good friends. I love Bird of Prey. He is a great guy. I would never seriously say anything bad about him, ever. Do we agree on everything? No. But we poke fun at each other, and we even argue about stuff just for fun. And we've lost that. And unfortunately, we take everything so damn seriously. Dudes, as much as I love Trek, and I absolutely love Trek to the core, it is ultimately a fictional universe. It's, whether or not they get every detail of the supernova right is not relevant. What's relevant is it a good story? And I think so far Picard is. I don't like the dialogue. Does that break the show? No, it is a detractor, however, and that's why I'm not giving it stellar ratings. I'd love to know what people would say about Picard if Discovery never existed. I think it's a great show. It has less faults than most older Trek. Discovery damaged the fandom. I do think Discovery damaged the fandom, but I would disagree with you that it has less faults than most of older Trek. I would say that it's on par with most of older Trek. Would you think that that's what made Batman great? I beg to differ, considering that that's the modern perception of Batman. Just because that's the modern perception doesn't mean it's the best perception. Guess what? The MCU is the most money-making franchise in the history of film because they went back to what made Marvel great, namely the 70s and early 80s, not the dark crap that came after that. Stupid copyright matching, part 2 is almost done. You know what, like with Matthew, it's funny you should say that because I actually I'm doing the same thing with my part 2. I finished the video, but here, I'll bring it up. So there is part 2 right now. You can see there's a copyright strike on it. And so I'm working on eliminating the stuff that is causing the copyright strikes. Thank you, Chancellor. So yeah, I understand that. And of course, you're probably long gone at this point. Wait, stop. Everything Anna's in the chat. Yeah, she was. I think she might be gone now because she hasn't said anything. But yeah, Anna, if you are still here, I love you. You're awesome. Twitter equals mob mentality. Nothing ever good comes from mob mentality. That's sadly kind of true. Michael says metamorphosis. Yes. I thought communicators had universal translators built in. Well, apparently not in the original series, even though they did in Discovery, apparently. Quit Twitter. Well, I use Twitter for communication, though. Jedi says, thank you. The name is creative. I love Phantom Menace, but I do disagree with some things too. Love the show. Hey, that Star Wars girl. And then that Star Wars girl is looking up at you, and I'm not sure what the second emoji is for. And Editor Supreme, I can't believe that dick is, I mean, that wonderful person donated another $1. What I love most about Star Trek Picard, Burnham isn't in it. Well, there is that. That is definitely a plus. Because Michael Burnham, honestly, is the worst part of Discovery. It's not the canonical violations. It's not the different design of the ships. It's none of that crap, the superficial stuff. It is the writing of the character of Michael Burnham that breaks that show. And the fact that everything centers around her and the other characters, you barely understand who the hell they are by the end of season 1. That is why Discovery is broken. You know what? If you rewrote Discovery and made Burnham an interesting character, guess what? You just fixed Discovery and it could have been a good show. The problem is that they did her all wrong. Daniel says Anti-Trigger is magnificent. Well, I wouldn't say magnificent, but thank you. I talk about this, but the positronic brain has always been science fantasy. Picard does go more science fantasy than the past, but the rest of Trek isn't innocent either. Well, here's the thing, with Matthew. The positronic brain has been around since Encounter at Farpoint. So, yeah, there's that. I'm not saying Supernova is breaking it for me, but the 2008 movie is actually better. The Hoba Star should be the one to go Nova and travel to Romulus. Well, fine if you think the Hoba Star should be the one to go Nova, but, you know, doesn't matter. Either way, people are going to argue that it's impossible, and either way, it doesn't matter. That's not the point. Kenneth Hommel says, do you think that Martia from Star Trek 6 was a founder? No, she was a comaloid, and you could tell by the way that she changed shape that she was different, and she did not need to return to a liquid state. So she was definitely not one of the founder species. I don't have a PhD, but I have Google and the internet never lies. Abraham Lincoln loved Google. I've seen the memes. What are your thoughts on The Witcher? I thought it was okay. I think it's overrated, to be honest with you. You know, it's funny because the more I look at it, it's like, wow, the people that are loving on this, I'm surprised that so many of the Phantom Menace love it because it's kind of blatantly woke, but, you know, it's all right. It's not the worst thing. And Commander Iron Wolf says, check Discord, because of course he does, because who doesn't want to slow me down even more when I'm this far behind? What did you send me, my friend? Sent me a chart. All right, so I'll bring up the chart. I do see. Go to the game screen. I know it's a little small there. It says confidence versus knowledge in field, and notice that the confidence is at the highest, where you say I know everything, and knowledge in the field is very, very low at that point. And so I would disagree though about the curve at the end. I actually think that the best scientists will be very readily admit that we know very little about the actual workings of the universe. And so, honestly, if a scientist tells you we know everything, that scientist is lying to you. Picard is a pillar of morality. What are you trying to say over there? I'm saying that he's not. I'm saying that he is preachy. I'm saying that he is arrogant. I'm saying that he uses the prime directive however it's convenient for him to use it. Brenda Prey 5 said the love escaping the universe, and we need more love so we could get those beagles. Well, I got a beagle right here, right, Auntie? Yeah, Auntie. Auntie's my beagle. Yeah, you're my beagle. Let's see. I'm not going to accept modern Trek until I see an overweight, legally blind albino in the starring role. Well, okay, well, good luck with that. One thing I will love is Picard sticks to whoever he is. In this show, it's mainly why I'm watching it. Well, yeah, Picard is definitely being Picard. That's the thing. Where are you going, Auntie? Come here, girl. What? What are you doing? You want another? I know what you want. You want another one of these Krogan snacks. There you go. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I know. Apart from the cameos already planned on the Picard show, which cameo by Trek character would you like to see? Honestly, I don't care about cameos. I care about story. Tentacle says, I don't have a problem with the supernova. I actually have a problem with the size of the Romulan Empire. Wayun said it's take 3 weeks to reach Romulus from the Cardassian-Romulan border. Well, I believe you said that before, that they said it would take 3 weeks to fight their way to Romulus, and that's assuming resistance. It doesn't mean you're doing a maximum warp all the way to Romulus without stopping. And so I understand what you're saying, but you know what? That's a problem with writing. It's very inconsistent as far as scale. But if you look at any maps that are available, it's clear that the Romulan Empire is not that big. Let's see. We even said the Federation fleet, or Romulan fleet, is on the Federation border. It doesn't expect to attack from the Dominion, so they can be to Romulus in 3 weeks without much resistance. Yeah, they can be on Romulus in 3 weeks, meaning they could fight their way through what is there. That's not a non-stop trip. And so let's say you stop for 4 or 5 days to engage in battle, you travel for a few more hours, you stop for another couple of days for a battle, etc. I think that, projecting how quickly you can invade an area is not the same as projecting maximum cruising time. I'm curious to say why, and I'm assuming they're taking the planets along the way too. I'm curious to see why Antique Romulan Warbird doesn't have a cloaking device. That would have made for an even better space battle. You know what? I think that the Antique Romulan Warbird, and it was not a warbird, it was a bird of prey. That is now canon. That is not a freaking warbird. It is a Romulan bird of prey. That is the name of that ship. Anyway, but as far as why didn't it have a cloaking device? Because reasons. Perhaps because the Romulan cloaking device is their most guarded military tech, and that's an antique ship, so they removed it. Commander Airwolf says, I got problems, you got problems, everybody's got problems. Nobody wants to effing hear about your problems. Rich and poor people must be nice that if new Trek fit your preconceived headcanon and made it canon. I wish there were a way for me too. No, well, here's the thing, Zabe. Yes, it's true that my headcanon, if you will, has always seen Picard as being very arrogant. It's always been the fact that the people that you see saying things like, we just do whatever we want to do to enrich ourselves and, money doesn't drive us and blah, 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 are coming from people of privilege. And that's been the case all along. It's just like the fact that apparently in Starfleet, and Darren Wagner has talked about this in his videos, apparently in Starfleet, everybody's a freaking officer. Why? Because the lowly chiefs and petty officers, we don't care about enough to follow them. And you know what? Most of them are grunts that aren't enjoying themselves every day and enriching themselves. They're people that are cleaning the latrines. They're people, or whatever the heads, I guess is what you would call them on a ship. They're the people that are doing the crap work. They're the people that are elevating Picard and allowing Picard to live his luxurious lifestyle. Just like the people working, you really think that all the people in Picard's fields toiling out in the hot sun are there because they're enriching their lives, or are they there because they need a job? We should start a donation fund for those struggling for food and shelter. We should name it Replicators for Others. The nerd community can make a difference. I'll tell you, that's why, I give every much bit that I can. And it's tough because I know if you start thinking about the problems of the world, it will completely just destroy you. It's depressing. Discovery Turbo Shaft, search for YouTube. This Thessian Cup unveils world's first sideways moving elevator system is only bi-vector. Quad vector would be much more complex. But here's the thing. It's not that the ship is, the elevator can move sideways and all that. The turbo lifts have existed from the beginning of Trek. It's the idea that the turbo lift shafts are these monumentally wasted spaces within the ship. It's just stupid design. I mean, every time I see that turbo lift shaft, I'm like, what is this? This doesn't make any sense. It doesn't match anything else we're seeing, even just within the aesthetic that we're seeing on this show. There's a world outside your window, a world of dread, not fears, where only water is flowing, a bitter sting of tears. Wow. I don't know what that's from, but it's depressing. Do people take the milk from their cows in Star Trek II, or are they liberated? Do people take the milk from their cows in Star Trek II, or are they liberated? Good question. To be fair, I've been poor to buy food and gone hungry for about a week just because I was too proud to ask my family to feed me, but that's more pride than anything. Well, that's the thing, though, Iron Wolf. I mean, we're talking about, like, if you go to Uganda, there are people that starve to death, and it's not because of pride. It's a terrible world. For example, some people have beautiful goddess girlfriends and wives who are cool and like Comic-Con, cosplay, Star Wars, all sorts of stuff. Others have no girls. Well, that's true. Check your Twitter, Grand Negus. There better be something there, Neo-Normie. There better be something there because, well, I did hear my Twitter go off a minute ago, so I'm sure there is. There's that horrible picture of Bird of Prey. That is interesting. So here's the picture. That's probably the worst Photoshop job I've ever seen in my life.
Death!
Wow. But I consider myself more of a Klingon than Ferengi. But yeah. Have you seen The Expanse? What do you think of it? I love The Expanse. I think it's a really, really good show. Watching Star Trek Picard episodes again, the episodes are better the more I watch them. You know, I've heard that a lot from people. I disagree with the fact that just because something's worse than what you're dealing with, can't point out something is bad. I didn't say you can't point out that something is bad, but don't tell me about suffering. You know, that's the problem. It's this whole thing. It's just it's the same kind of thing. We're skirting around issues, and that's what we do so well in the Western world. We have first world problems, right? To where we want to get so emotionally worked up over a damn TV show. You know what? There's no TV show that's worth getting that emotionally worked up over as far as hating on it. There really isn't. There's no movie in the world that is worth getting that emotionally worked up over on hating it. Yeah, sure. I'm with you as far as I get angry, sure. But I don't resort to hate. Hate is a wasted emotion. The science in Star Trek have inspired scientists, engineers, NASA astronauts. Do you think Star Trek Picard will inspire people in that way? Probably no. And I will tell you why. It's not that the show couldn't inspire people. It's the fact that they're going out of their way to make the show inappropriate for children, and so you're not going to have kids watching the show and want, you know, when I was a kid, I wanted to get into science. I never got the opportunity, but I wanted to get into science because of watching Star Trek. You know what? If this crap that we have, not just Discovery, but even the Picard stuff that I enjoy as a show, but I don't appreciate, you know, putting F-bombs into Star Trek, I couldn't let my little kid watch that. Now, some people say, oh, Anti-Trekkie, you're being a prude. Come on, you should just be willing to say the F word in front of your kids. You know what? Agree to disagree. I don't think that's appropriate behavior. Some people do. That's how you live. I'm not going to judge you for that, but I don't. And neither did my parents. One more day of episode 5. Yes, indeed. The science of Star Trek has inspired science. Oh, I already read that. And, oh, Thomas put, don't get mad. Sent you a warning on Twitter and number 28. What'd you do, Thomas? All right, let's go to messages. Thank you, Thomas. Oh, man. Actually, that's not going to be an issue because I'm going to have to wrap it up in just a minute here because I am so freaking behind. I apologize because there's no way I'm going to catch up, but I'm going to do what I can. For just a couple more minutes, but it is 2 o'clock in the morning here, and yeah, it's just I got to get this video done, and I need to get some sleep because I got a lot to do over the next couple of days. Piano Dean says, I wonder why Romulus only was written in English, and Tentacle Ped, that actually makes sense. It was written for humans to read. I would kind of get that, and because I know English is kind of considered the galactic standard. They do that in Star Wars as well. And the swearing isn't that bad. I disagree. I'm sorry. F-bombs do not belong in Trek.
Hello, world.
If you and you know, maybe you think that again, maybe you think it's appropriate to say the F word in front of a 5-year-old. Maybe you do. I don't. I think that's offensive, and I think it's immoral. Now, that's perfectly okay if you don't. I'm not judging you for that, but that's not something that I'm going to back down on. that I don't think that we should be putting graphic content, be it sex, violence, or language, in front of our children. A lot of people think that you're just being, oh, come on, people are going to swear anyway. Well, okay, whatever. You have fun with that, and you teach everybody to just behave like animals, and they'll all behave like animals. And, oh, wow, look, people are killing themselves and crying over the fact that they get mean comments on Twitter, right? You know what? I get pissed off about some of these idiots on Twitter. You know what I'm never going to do? Kill myself over a comment on Twitter. And yet people do. Why? Because we're breaking our youth, and we're not letting them be youth, which is sad. And if they could, TNG would swear. Really? So you can read their minds now, apparently? Because you just know that they would have sworn. Now, granted, I mean, you could try to say, well, Data said the S word in Generations. That was for comedic effect. And I understand that some people say, well, the only reason they didn't swear was because they had censors and blah, 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 blah. They still have standards and practices on the networks. They just, CBS, like if you can't say the F word on CBS television, but you can say it on their CBS streaming all access. And that's part of the whole, allure to it to some of the writers and stuff. Ooh, we can finally say the F-bomb because that makes the show better. Well, I'm sorry, putting graphic language into a show does not improve the quality of the show. It just doesn't. But, I understand. Some people think it does. Some people think, for some reason, bad language and nudity makes better entertainment just because it's bad language and nudity. Well, that's not me, and you're never going to convince me that it does. Gratuitous sex, gratuitous violence, and gratuitous language is gratuitous. And gratuitous is the opposite of good writing. Picard and Logan work for me because dementia is a hell of a thing. There's plenty of people whose families will tell you they never swear, and now they swear, make a sailor blush. But here's the problem with that, and I understand that, Renegade. But you know what? When I'm watching a movie about a guy with a metal skeleton with claws that pop out, and another guy that can read people's minds and make them freeze in their tracks because of his mental powers, I don't want to freaking hear about the realistic effects of dementia. Sorry, I don't give a crap about that. If I want a movie about the realistic effects of dementia, I'm going to watch a movie that is marketed as a movie about someone suffering from dementia. But you know what I'm not going to do? Go see that movie. I'm not interested in going to a movie to watch people suffer. I'm not interested in going to a movie to watch realism on screen. Why? Because film is entertainment. It is nothing more than that. And I know that actors think they're so important because, movies need to make you think. Well, some movies do make you think, but if it's not entertaining, not interested. So, if you want to say that, that's all great and fine, you go ahead and say that. But I'm not with you on that. And so you're right. It's perfectly realistic that someone suffering from dementia would go through that. You know what else is realistic? Luke freaking Skywalker turning into a coward in his old age. And yet, most people aren't defending that. What's the difference? Seriously, what's the difference? If you want to argue that because it's realistic that Professor X could start dropping F-bombs because he's going through dementia, fine. Then you should love The Last Jedi because it's totally realistic that Luke Skywalker could have turned into a coward and ran away on his little island. And you know what? Knock yourself out with that. Because you know what? I don't want to see Luke Skywalker as a coward. I want to see him as a hero. That's why I go see Star Wars. And I understand that's why some people don't like Picard, because they don't see Picard as a hero anymore. And Andrews puts another $2 in and says, not having luck with my super chats today. Ha ha ha. Well, what? Didn't I catch all you? Let's see. You put in 5 earlier and now for something. Wow. How did I not see that? I am so sorry, Andrew. Let me see here. You did put in a couple that I missed. I feel like an idiot now. So I'm going to read Andrew's super chats, but then I'm going to wrap it up because guys, it's way too late. So Andrew put in $5 and said, people mad about Supernova forget the biggest crime in 2009 was destruction. Well, no, I did read that one, destruction of Vulcan. I agree with you on that. Let's see. Then Andrew put in $5, says, now for something completely different. What do you think about Starfleet saving Saru? I thought that was stupid. I absolutely, because first of all, it was a blatant violation of the Prime Directive. I mean, it was a blatant violation of the Prime Directive. It violated every aspect of the Prime Directive, but they did it because quantum, apparently. I mean, that was, F them.
Death to Katarora!
And so thank you, Andrew. I appreciate your understanding. I know that I've been less than perfect today by a substantial amount. And thank you all for, I mean, honestly, I had a great time, even though, yes, it sounded like I was, worked up and everything, but honestly, I love a good fight. And so that's just the kind of guy I am. And if we can genuinely disagree and still walk away being friends, that's what it's all about. The fact that Tentacle Pentacle and I almost never disagree, but he keeps coming back. So I'm assuming he's okay with my existence in the world. So that's good. But anyway, so thank you all that have hung out with me all this time. And I apologize to those that I didn't get to your chat in the last about 30 minutes because I just couldn't catch up, but you guys are freaking awesome. And yeah, so gonna wrap this up and have a good one, and hopefully I can get this video done in the next hour or two. Jeez, I'm just, oh man.
Making your way with the nerds today takes everything you've got. Taking a break from hating JJ sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to just get laid? Sometimes you wanna go where all the Trekkies know your name, and they're always glad you came. You wanna be in a galaxy where Star Trek isn't lame. You wanna go where everybody knows your name. Turds of a feather flock together, that's what we believe. We know a place that's got you covered, a place to get relief. Wouldn't you like to say me? I got
it!
Well, I heard it, so I know somebody... Oh, Yosef puts in a buck, says, did you read mine? I was gone. Say my name. Say my name. I am an attention. Bad language censored. Well, let me see, Yosef. When did you put something? You put in $2, says, I am like 69. Ha, ha, ha. Good morning, Europe. Yosef, you are a nut job, my friend, and I do think I missed it, and so, man, I really sucked today. I am sorry. I mean, seriously, I am sorry about that. I don't mean to miss chats, even, yeah. So, and by the way, yes, we do have the Orville. I love the Orville. It's a great show. I do think the Orville is a better show than Picard, and I do think Expanse is a better show than Picard, but I'm enjoying Picard, so, yeah, there's that.
Sometimes you wanna go where turn to standies know your name, and all Karogans are to blame. You wanna be where you can see Karoga go up in flames. You wanna go where everybody knows your
You!
Right when Bird starts to give the final farewell, Justin puts $10 in. Justin, thank you so much. A big fan of your streams. I truly appreciate that, my friend. And you know, I'm a big fan of you guys, honestly. And I know that sounds silly, but I've said this before. I don't consider you guys my fans. I don't consider you guys my subscribers, even though I know technically you subscribe to my channel. I consider you guys my friends, and actually in a very real way, you guys are like family to me. You guys, and I know not all of you have been around for this whole time that I've been going through some crap with my life, and me and Mrs. Antrekker have just gone through hell for the last year, but you guys pulled us through on multiple occasions. I mean, honestly, you guys made such a huge difference in our lives. I would not be sitting here right now if not for you. So yeah, you guys are freaking awesome. So thank you, Justin. I truly do appreciate it. Commander Ironwolf says, Andrew, it's the worst. He didn't read half of what I said. Gosh, I'm going to go to the other trekkers now. I guess I don't know. Sorry. Avoid drinks like the cloaking device. Well, actually, the cloaking device is a pretty good drink. It does turn invisible. And so, but thank you again. And with that, Bird of Prey, sing us out, my friend.
You son of a bitch, anti-tracker!
Well, that wasn't nice.